Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our second casting day of WARNO League Season 5. And we have a new map here for all of you guys, as Chloride is joining me once more for some lovely Division 1 action.
Hello, everybody. Very excited once again to be here on streaming. We're going to see a very interesting divisional matchup, at least. But before we get into that, you want to talk about the map?
Yeah, I want to talk about the pick and ban in general. And yeah, Omen obviously is the first one there. Bans three really classic Axis, aka Highlander bands there. He is known for his second Pentagondier and his 101st. He played the 20th Panzerna a bit as well, so he has to go a bit off his beaten path. And on the other side, three more classic bands here: Div Mob, Fifth Blindée. The 6th Leger, I think, is a direct ban against Hippie. And then Hippie picking second UK for the first matchup versus 76 VDV here, and 4th Divisie versus 8th in the second one. And yeah, Omen, a really wide map, one of the two mirrored maps. We already saw Chandra, now we see Omen here. Has been in the ranked pool for a bit longer. And what is special about this map is just how big it is for a 1v1 map. It has a good couple of zones. It isn't the fastest ticker, but you have to cover so much space on it.
Yeah, it has like a really old school, huge middle zone. We used to, basically all zones in Warner used to be this size back in the early access. But nowadays they are generally not used because they give such a, don't work that great with a lot of forward deployment divisions, then they're imbalanced. But in this case, the fact that the Bravo is just like this one big engagement area where you have enough variety and enough space and lines of sight and a bunch of different reinforcement roads. And so you can kind of actually do like micro in that. That's an area for infantry micro. But so far as people have been really into mech fire support gameplay in this game for the longest time, we've seen the forward deployment and special forces kind of strategies go out of favor. And people, in my experience playing this map, people have basically always attacking the right side, looking from their perspective, of course, and barely contesting the Bravo. The ability to get on the enemy side of the map, either on Golf and Delta, is just considered to be the better option in the meta right now. And probably also because there are so many routes from which Bravo can be engaged in. Anyways, I really do like the slow ticking variety of this map, that and it's still massive enough to give a proper tempo advantage to a forward deployment player if they actually want to go in and rush. If you want to do your heli attack, your mech rushes, honker russes, airborne, whatever, you can actually get somewhere and then expand. The map doesn't just end like some maps do.
Yeah, and we have a good couple of SAS here coming forward. We have a couple of Warrior Milans ready behind that for Hippie. But on the other side, 76 VDV, a division that is pretty one-dimensional in that it has a lot of forward deploy vehicles and infantry from the airborne Soviet forces, and then it has a lot of high-end Soviet planes. And in between that, there's not a lot. It has a decent artillery park, it has no tanks, it has no helicopters. So it's a bit of a special division. And it's going to be interesting to see how Highlander will play this on this map, how he will play this wide. As on the other side, we have the Warrior Milans and the Chieftains and Challengers as the tanks that can give them longevity. That's the second UK advantage against light divisions. It has some heavy tools, not a lot, but enough to just beat divisions with that. And it has decent helicopters with the links all over the place. So it's really going to be interesting to see how 76 does do here on this map. I'm not the biggest fan of 76 currently. I think it's highly overrated because it was so OP when it came out and people still have PTSD about it. But in my eyes, this division is actually kind of easy to beat because it is so predictable.
Yeah, I think choosing it against the SAS opener second UK, it's kind of does have a natural advantage in that when you don't have any helicopters, the SAS can't catch any of your helicopters. And on this map, maybe specifically, the late game transition into the BMD3s and BMD2s with the decent enough ATGMs, the wide map might sustain that, but I'm still kind of interested in what is Highlander's win condition here, because it's not getting into properly in the middle, and even the deployments on the right side are, I mean, there are two Spetsgruppe Vs and a Spetsnaz crew, so that is the attack, it has to be, but still is kind of limited in scope. I think Hippie's massive investment into the middle here, I really love the use of the single Lynx rocket, even if it's just around using it and being able to eliminate infantry squads early on is really valuable. And now we can see this ability, Hippie repositioning the Lynx rocket up north, and the SAS now might actually get the chance to just reload themselves into the Saxons and start driving all over the place. I think Hippie's opener here, as long as Hippie can contain Highlander in the corner here, seems to be way in a better position.
Yeah, MiG-31 coming around, killing a Lynx. Really expensive plane here. So that's a big investment. It should secure air superiority against the fighters of the second UK, the Phantoms that they can bring around. But Hippie only needs to stay around his Stingers, and over time they will deal with the Su-24s that the other side can bring around. Maybe a couple of other AA units here. And you run out of the air tap, the aggressive air tap, eventually. You only have 4 or 5 good aggressive planes as 76, and once those have been depleted, your air tap is not really helpful anymore, and then your light infantry and light vehicles have to do it. And yeah, the Luat's already going down here, the BMP3 trying to push forward, but the Milan 1 already is a big problem. Having to deal with that, not gonna be easy. More BMP3s coming along. BRDM Conquerors in the middle have given space, and they are Hippie currently on a +1. Highlander needs to capture the northern area.
Yeah, Highlander has a bunch of investments down south. They were obviously expecting the attack on the right that is so common in ranked, at least, ranked 1v1, with the 2 Desant Metis and 2 Desant SBG and AA trucks. These here could maybe start doing something. They are completely dead weight, and Hippie is showing no interest in advancing to this area. At least have the Desant Niki move somewhere and try to do something. Hippie completely getting the momentum here in this game. Highlander investing in a very expensive MiG-31 fighter, which is probably a preamble to the slow and expensive buildup of the Su-24 fleet. And it might be, looking at Hippie's kind of momentum here with the attack moving in and Highlander not even being able to contest or enter the zone, really. This is looking very bad for Highlander here. Hippie just using, not even to the maximum, like the Hell Arms are not trying to hit any reinforcement rows right now, but everything's going up Hippie. Hippie's showing a very kind of a being able to exploit the momentum without going like all in and just right clicking here and succeeding.
Yeah, Luat's coming in here in the north, will move into the zone, will get capture on there. We have a CV on the other side, Rover CP there, moving out, will move to the front line. MiG-31 flying above all of this, keeping the sky clean for now. We have a Schmelt drone coming along. That is a nice unit to have to figure out what exactly is there on the ground and where it is. But armored rifles here now fighting the BMD, and I feel like the BMD3 nowadays just a bit too expensive. Like, they aren't really worth their money. 110 points. Yes, the Conqueror's M is nice. Yes, they have a decent autocannon, but I think they are a bit overpriced. That really holds the division back quite heavily right now, because the BMD3 is supposed to be their special thing on the ground, together with the special air tap. You have a couple of good special forces infantry, but it's not particularly amazing. The Spetsgruppe V are good with the double PKMs and the submachine guns and a decent RPG, but it's nothing out of the ordinary. And outside of that, the division really is just some light infantry with some smokeless IFVs, and that's just not gonna win you any contests here. So the capture in the north is going on now, but 76 hasn't gotten the momentum on yet, hasn't gotten the air train on, hasn't gotten any forward deploy advantages, and this is really second UK's big strength. Matchups like this, and it's well played from Hippie here so far, using the speed momentum at the beginning and then coming in with the heavier tools, bringing in the warrior everywhere, and just locking down the enemy infantry bit by bit.
Yeah, the Warriors especially are great at taking ground in this matchup because the BMDs can beat them on the defensive, but there are no tanks coming in that can just face check a Warrior, no vehicles. So the Warriors are, first of all, they're pretty fast moving. Those things are 70 kph, and just the 4 Milan missiles, as we can see right now, if they start threatening reinforcement roads, this means Highlander is going to have to pull the front line back and start putting up like special forces in these random zones. And as long as the fighting is happening there, Hippie is winning because Hippie is cutting off the oxygen from the actual attack. The BMD3 right now, dodging a Rover Milan, dodging a Milan 1, LGB getting tagged by the SAS, showing just how incredibly great value the SAS are all throughout the game, and why they are so important to keep alive and keep using near the front lines.
Yeah, ZSU getting the armored rifles there, warrior Milans going down, so there are some trades here being done, but you need to get rid of all these warriors here to actually get your BMD3s to really get into the fight long term. They are a bit better, they have the better ATGM and so on, but it doesn't really matter all that much. BMD3 is here now engaging some SAS. The SAS likely gonna die, but the Warrior Milan about to come around there. Spätskruper V still running behind it. Dejan Niki there going down. And meanwhile, Hippie finding that Hotel is actually pretty open. Gets a double kill against the Recon BMD3s in the middle. Kills ZSU3 there as well. And Hotel completely open now. Hippie on the slow march there. Fox being able to move quite deep into the south as well. Get some value there as well. SAS and armored rifles under fire in the north, but they will pin down the Spätskruper. Dejan Drashvetka likely gonna die to the warrior here as well, and the Highlander is just not being able to play the space like he wants to, and this is starting to become a real big problem here as the big blue blob now moving through the center.
Yeah, and even the Harrier rocket coming in to just kind of rub salt on the wound at how many tools Hippie has to keep up aggro. When it comes to aggro v aggro, the easier task to the easier part to play there is the one that is slightly heavier than the opposite, because as we can see here, like there are so many great tools to keep up aggro and keep up momentum for second UK. The cheap fighter planes, 175, this as opposed to like 285 for 76th, inherently means that there's just going to be like 1 to 3 extra infantry units for Hippie aggro if Hippie wants to buy an air supremacy fighter compared to Highlander aggro. And the armored rifles, the humble 40-point armored rifles with 2 machine guns, which is better than most, and the Warrior Milan, which is not great, but it just excels in this environment. I think the BMD3, it kind of reminds me of, the Terminator tank, the Russian Wunderwaffen thing that's fortunately complete failure. Like the Terminator tank in the Russian military, it's supposed to be like a standard armored tank, but instead of a cannon, it has a bunch of autocannons and grenade launchers and ATGMs. But the question is, why would you have that instead of just a tank? What does it achieve? Well, it achieves this specific task that the Russians have imagined themselves facing since like Grozny, about fighting these high-rise buildings. But in practice, it's just a bad place to spend your resources. In the BMD3 here, would you like to have an M60 Patton or like a Leopard 1A5 or a BMD3? The choice is very clear. No matter how many cool weapons you have, the tank is just gonna perform better in practice.
Yeah, the 3 frontal armor holding off the aggressive capabilities of this thing. And the thing is, you have enough defensive capabilities in this division with the rest of your tools, but the issue is you lack aggressive capabilities, and yeah, this isn't giving it to you. And that means you have to get your advantage early in the first couple of minutes with the forward deployment advantage. And if you don't get it there, you kind of never get it again with 76 unless you dominate the air. But as I said, you are really dependent on 2-3 tools there that are all really expensive. And if the enemy never allows you to buy them, or if you lose them, the game is falling apart. And second UK is a really cost-efficient, really aggressive deck with flexible combined arms. And Hippie is playing it to the mastery right now. Completely has cleaned up the south, has pushed back the north as well, and is about to really put on the heat here now with a higher tick rate. The center about to fall as well there, and yeah, the KD here just not going well for Axis. And yeah, another unit down there, another special force that you can't replace. And there we go, GG is called, and Hippie wins game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, this was a pretty decisive. My diagnosis to this, it really is that when that if you are playing against with 76th, you just cannot afford to take a defensive stance. And defensive stance was what we saw Highlander do here. There was a very unreasonably big investment into defenses in the southern area, defensive positions, not even trying to contest the entry points, but the troops holding inside the zone, and then no investment into the middle, as far as I can remember, any significant ones. And then the investment into the northern attack was first of all not protected on the side. So when the middle attack of Hippie went through, they managed to completely like strangle the actual push into the blue zone, and also just not enough numbers to get into the zone immediately. And like you said, 76 is pretty clearly the weaker division of the two, way less versatile. It kind of like demands perfect conditions, which involve getting really good trades in with your Spetsgruppa in the opener, and then being able to tie the enemy down into an infantry fight that you can exploit with your BMD fire superiority. But then also somehow that enemy cannot have any tanks that can just single shot kill your BMD 3s, and those conditions are just quite unlikely.
Yeah, and a job really well done here in the end by Hippie. See, like playing this like a masterclass, using the weaknesses of the enemy perfectly, using the flexibility of second UK, and showing why this deck has been around as one of the top divisions for so long. Why it is a good pick for the ladder and in tournament as player 1, because it has the flexibility to do a good lot of things. It has good air, it has good helicopters, it has good infantry. It is limited in numbers and all of those things. It's not top of its class in any of those things, but it is one of the all-rounders next to second Panzer Grenadiers that can get you pretty deep. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen in game number 2. There we have a matchup that we already have seen once before. 4th E versus 8th US. Once more, this time around, Hippie on the 8th US and Axis on the 4th Divisie, aka Highlander. So, quick break, guys, and then we're going to be back with that one. So here we return, game number 2, and we are back to an OG map, Black Forest Duel for map number 2. The maps were voted outside of Omen and Chandra, which as the mirror maps I put into the map pool from the get-go. The other 7 maps were voted by the players and before the season, and the 7 maps with the most votes got in. And Hippie and Highlander here now playing on this one with a matchup that we have seen before in the stream on Monday, with 2 divisions that are pretty similar in weight, that are pretty similar in that they have one modern IFV in their line. So last time around we saw a lot of old M60s coming around, and 8th US maybe mishandling the situation a bit. It's gonna be interesting to see what Hippie does in this one. But before we jump in there, quick shout out to the Matcherino page, guys, where you can help out fundraising the tournament, and that you can do without even having to pay anything yourself. All you have to do is click the claim contribute button to add 25 cents to the prize pool completely for free. 39 of you already did so. Much appreciated. Also, big shout out to Zxcvster for adding $25 to the prize pool. Thanks, Jeremy. As that brings us close to the $400. That's the next stretch goal, which means Division 3 winner will get a part of the prize pool as well. And hey, thanks there, guys. Thanks for the support. Getting us to $377 now. And yeah, let's get into the action here as both sides setting up. And the recon weakness of 8th US, Hippie tries to share that with a lot of units here in the deployment.
Yeah, and interestingly here, 8th US, as I predicted, was taken as a response to the 4E pick. And 8th US generally, when it's criticized, it is criticized as a division, like a ranked division. And on ranked, there are so many things that you can kill without going and requiring the kind of equipment that 8th US has, like your super heavy or super modern tanks and your TOW2s or your Dragon missiles. The Milan 1 in many ways just performs better than the Dragons, for instance. And but if you're picking 8th US purposefully to achieve a very small but still meaningful technological advantage against another division, that I think is where 8th US competitively can shine. Whereas, you know, if you play against fourth Polish or something, they can just honker Rus and spam you out of the game pretty fast. But this here should be where the relative supremacy of the Bradley is pretty significant against the M113C and V rush that is going to be coming in from Axis most likely. The larger squads, the engineers and mech rifles, are superior in every way to the Dutch units. The Dutch are going to compensate with having more numerous recon infantry, but the LRS also quite good and can contest and fight off most of this. And numbers we can see here, obviously Highlander getting into the cheaper stuff, getting the PRIs and the Leopard 1s instead of opening with the Leopard 2s. And oh no, there has been a misclick. The M113C and Vs, they are not on a fast move command. This is a tragedy of the maximum scale. No.
Yeah, they are just checking out the countryside, and they now got moved into the fast move command, as they will get into the middle now, but they will be there significantly later. That actually might be a good thing, though, as an A10 already was waiting there for them, and this actually might mean that they arrive somewhat at time with the iHawk. And yeah, Cheetah in the north, no Cheetah in the south. That's gonna be an issue. Cheetah would be really helpful against the A10. But KCT Volcaners get beaten. LRS following up behind all of this. KCT Volcaners in the southern part need to unload now. Oh, Axis slow with the unload. Loses the second KCT Volcaner as well. 2 F-16Cs here for Hippie in the skies with Sparrows. The F-16A of the Dutch only short-range missiles, so they can't really do it here. A10 gets another transport kill here. Big mistakes in my eyes here.
iHawk is unloaded.
Yeah, iHawk does shoot. iHawk does miss. No Cheetah here with the push. gets the scout. A10 though gets out alive. F-16s get the F-16A. Bit of a panic by that F-16A. I think investing into more cheetahs, relying on the IHawk on the front line, and playing it slower, unloading the infantry, so that the A10 at least has to waste a bit more time and some ammunition, and maybe not even having enough shots to kill them all. That would have all been big. And now the plop is still here, so it's point-wise wasn't the biggest cost here for Highlander, but he lost a lot of time, he lost a lot of momentum, and Hippie gained a lot of ground here in the middle section of the map.
Yeah, I think you're right about it actually being a fortunate event, the misclick, because now the force everything is acting together here.
F-16A gets a good kill though on the Bradley, and yeah, the plop is coming around, and yeah, as I said, the M113s here now being with this actually gives the Leopard's eyes, and that means the Leopards maybe could just roll over this.
Yeah, like this is the exact thing that you don't want to face at 8th US. You don't want to face a large number of pretty fast units, none of which are the key ones that your LGB bomber can take out. And just the numbers, and even the Panzerinfanterias here, these smaller 7-man squads, they can just walk around stuff. There are not enough Americans to hold a front line right now. Like, you can just have them walk around, and that's and even losing the first Werkeners teams, even though they might affect the tempo a little bit, those we're talking like 40-point, 60-point units. And the M113 CNVs have very good optics, so they are not the same optics apply here in practice.
Yeah, and the units keep moving forward here. Mortars coming along. As the mech rifles moving forward. M113s moving around. As the engineers do unload. There's only one dragon here. If Highlander would see what we see, he would just A-click over the map right now. He doesn't see what we see though, so he can't do that. F-16A trying to ambush here one of the F-16Cs. Oh! Hippie really lucky. 1 hit point survival there. So unlucky with his hits against the F-16A in return. 4 missiles, 4 misses. So actually in the end, this comes out okay for both sides there. Both sides planes will make it out alive, heavily damaged, will be ready at a similar time again. The Panzer infantry here pushing forward, M113s will be able to open up in a second and continue moving forward. But
yeah,
Leopard 1 and else keep on moving forward.
Yeah, the plane thing on a wide map, when your enemy is concentrating in doing stuff, especially if they're microing a front line, sending a fighter from the corner of the map to another corner and just hang around to ambush something, like that's a pretty reliable trick. Like, you can kill a bomber reasonably early on, and especially if you're on the advance like Highlander is right now, the risk of bombers appearing every 1,000 meters further into the enemy's territory, enemy's recon spotting, the bombers are going to be a huge problem. The IHawk has already been reloaded, most likely, getting itself a little bit closer to the front line. And the issue of fighting against the F-16 AAs, which have long-range missiles and the Dutch don't, means that there cannot be like actual safety from the A10s necessarily. There needs to be a longer fight where the IHawks start getting some key kills, and only after that is air supremacy, like air safety, achieved. And right now, Highlander is moving, I think, correctly, not pushing into the town and trying to get sieging positions into Foxtrot. We of course know that you could basically get into Foxtrot anyways, but there is an M60 which would move in and get some kills. So just better play it safely with this blob for now.
Yeah, the Leopard 1 and else here moving around. He wants to get some cheetahs up here soon, and second IHawk coming up as well, and then I think 1 cheetah, and then you can start bringing in the Leo 2s. Smoking his own forces here right now from sneaky TOW 2 positions. Maybe could ruin his day. He needs some more infantry here on the front line. That would be really helpful in the situation. But TOW2s coming along, smoke landing all around the place. But we have the Leopard 1 and L driving backwards, TOW2s here, moving up, and Panzer Infantry in the middle, slowly retreating out of this as well.
Blob retreating further back. Kind of maybe playing it a little bit too safely. Like Hippie assumed that there was already infantry recon in the smoked out house buildings northeast of Foxtrot, which is standard place for recon to be. And there wasn't recon there, and now Highlander is deploying the TOW even further back, expecting maybe some kind of Bradley incursion.
Yeah, F-16 here getting blocked, doesn't get the drop. Ihawk pushing back. F-16A trying to come around again. We'll try to find another drop. But has to be careful with the F-16s on the other side slowly repairing. The first of the MR-10s on the battlefield. Both sides can bring these. So artillery will play a big role in this. And both sides can play that. I'm surprised we don't see any from Highlander yet. He is usually really quick on these M110s when he plays 2nd Panzer Grenadier. So it's not seeing it on 4th Divisie here. A bit surprising.
Yeah, I think the way Highlander is comfortable playing this here is to scale while trying to trade up as well as possible. The Wegener's AT are getting ambushed by the LRS. That's really a huge issue there. I think that area should have been taken as early as possible by Highlander. I think it's kind of a waste to only now try to engage in it. But as Hippie showed some troops, showed something that can be killed in the form of the mech rifles, now the blob has moved in to try to catch a bunch of the mech rifles. Highlander, I think, is comfortable in just building up this force. There is no tick currently, and as long as there can be kills getting done and no serious overextension from Highlander, I think that's kind of a win condition. And investing heavily into these Ihawks and artillery. Hippie also getting out the M60s now, which I think are the correct choice in fighting these light vehicles. But still, it's kind of speaking of a future issue. If just a few more units get killed from Hippie around the middle area, there's going to be a lot of ground that can be taken by the Dutch.
Yeah, KCT Verkenners here now slowly pushing up.
Oh no, Hippie's ACAV is spotting the Ihawk. No!
Ooh, gets the kill with the recaller's rifle. Good ambush there. Killing off the Ihawks here. Important for both sides. Those will help out a lot with this guy. Hippie now up to 3 Ihawks in his side as well. And yeah, the ACAV there. Big problem. Highlander realizes what happened there. Is setting up a hunting party for the ACAV. Maybe should have sent a helicopter, but might expect it to be a Bradley, not an ACAV there. And then the Bradley could kill it with the autocannon. Ooh, Ihawk in the front line, under fire as well. Has to be careful there. As the M110 is firing. The smokes of the mortars coming around as well. Or actually, it's HE rounds of the mortars trying to pin down stuff here. That's the Panzer infantry slowly moving forward with the YPRs. And yeah, both sides staying away from any heavier tanks. It's M60s and Leo 1 and L so far only. No Leo 2, no M1A1 on the battlefield just yet. And yeah, they're playing it light and easy, both knowing that the enemy side has strike aircrafts that otherwise could ruin those expensive units relatively quickly.
Yeah, and a heavy mortar gets counter-batteried by an M110. Looking at the recon of both players, they see very little of each other. Hippie spots the TOW2 currently with the scouts or the LRS, and that's probably going to get RT'd pretty soon. And right now, the reinforcements activity here is pretty heavily favoring Hippie, I think. Just the number of M60s and the number of still like engineers and standard stingers, all of this I think will like practically help out trading. The numbers of tanks that will be able to slowly whittle away, especially considering there are so few ATGMs currently and the Leopard 1s cannot penetrate the M60s efficiently on long range. And then the fact that there are helicopters for Hippie's side, and currently an Eyehawk advantage. So now as Highlander is going to try to do a little bit more of air aggro, it's going to get punished pretty badly. Not to mention what's going to happen when the Stingers are on the ground.
Yeah, HE Bomber actually coming around for the Eyehawks, but there are Stingers behind that. Stinger actually out of ammo or not firing, not quite sure what happened there. Both Stingers actually not getting a shot off. The Eyehawks at the moment empty, but no other HE Bomber following it this up. If he would have targeted, if he would have had both of his HE Bombers ready, targeted 2 Eyehawks here, he could have gotten maybe a double kill. That would have been a big blow. But this way around, trading a fighter for an Eyehawk, I think Hippie is fine taking that trade. A bit unfortunate that the Stingers didn't get a shot off. And M110's here, targeting TOW2s, getting a kill there. Artillery gonna be key, and Highlander's artillery actually might get too close here to the front line, and then might get spotted by Hippie Scout, and might be taken out there. There is little in front of the M110 of Highlander right now.
Though the Panzer Infantry are engaging the Scouts, there is a lack of any ATGM support though, so when the Bradley and ACAB move in here, the Panzer Infantry are going to be cheap meat. The Highlander is employing the traditional blob formation, and the blob is currently hiding inside this commercial area, so it doesn't have line of sight against anything. The blob, I think, has kind of become obsolete right now. Like as Hippie is scaling to a wide front line of ATGMs and M60s, with the constant ability and the hovering waiting A10 on the background here, if the blob had managed to get something done, it would have done it already. There was no exploitation from the early blob kills, and yeah, I think Highlander is kind of in a bad position. This is a near perfect concave being kept up by recons on the backlines. Highlander having to invest the genie work to hunt down the vehicle. Oh, that's a really bad event if they actually find that ACAM in the backlines. And right now, Hippie has like local fire supremacy and enough recon infantry and standard infantry to spot the enemy. From this point on, if Highlander doesn't do something and doesn't get something done, Hippie is probably like 3-4 minutes away from transitioning into full-on Abrams.
Yeah, no Leo 2 still on the side of Highlanders. That's what would upgrade this blob. Like, even a single Leo 2 inside this blob would mean that this blob can engage M60s, and the M60s can't do much about it. But it's more autocannons right now. It's more TOW2s that are just currently M110 bait, basically. Like, expensive M110 bait. I don't know why he doesn't go the next step and buys the heavier tanks. I don't know why he isn't flopping up with cheetahs and gets a couple more of those around. I feel like his mobile idea from the get-go worked out pretty well. He got rid of a good couple of Hippies TOW2s as well. But now he leaves Hippie a lot of space. Hippie can slowly push forward, and the M60s are just gaining values. Like, we saw how terrible they are against Leo 2s the last time we had those matchups. But if they're no Leo 2s, they're really, really good. Like, this is what Nocturna dreamed about getting in the matchup last time around. Oh no, it was MJ Player versus... Yeah, MJ Player was streaming about to get against Griffon. And yeah, I feel like Highlander is currently ending it to Hippie in this matchup, with the M60s just being the most valuable tanks that you could hope for in this matchup right now.
Yeah, there is like the build-up of support units, the TOW2s and the Prats and the extra recon and the Panzer Infantry all around the place. Like, there's something missing here. Like, the attack never happened. You were supposed to gain ground and then get all the support units out there. But now the gaining ground, the gaining the extra zone, just never manifested. Like, and it worked out so well in those early fights. We, of course, you have the God vision as a caster, so you can say, no, well, this was the moment when you should have attacked, and after this, it's not going to work out. I saw that like 6 minutes ago. That moment happened, and it was basically right before the M60 reinforcements came in. And I think Highlander was kind of like, I wouldn't say like bamboozle, like getting those trades and managing to like succeeding with the strategy, but then getting trapped into an infinite loop of, oh, I just need this reinforcement. Oh, I just need this reinforcement. I just need to scale. I just need to scale. And Hippie has been like keeping up this minor conflict all around the edges to kind of just keep the Highlanders' attention away there. And that's allowed Hippie to do like massive scaling. Every front has an M60. Everywhere has stingers right now. And yeah, the M110s can strike at other M110s and also Eyehawks. And only 2 Eyehawks are left, one of which is currently attack beaconed by Hippie for artillery.
Yeah, M110 now aiming to the front line currently, trying to take out more TOW2s. One of them got an M60 this time around, so at least one of them is taken off the field. But we see more Leopard 1NLs here out of Highlander. F-16A, HE above all of this. Still, there come the first Abrams. Hippie investing into that, and that will shut down the Leopard 1NL squad completely as well. Artillery gets to TOW2. That's another expensive kill there. Panzer Infantry going down as well. Eyehawk under fire there in the rear as well. Gets routed. At least does stay alive for now. Another M60 and a pivot move here. Pivot under fire by the TOW2. Does get missed. So the TOW2 has to come around another time. MR10s here now. Aiming for M60s on the other side. Likely gonna get it here, as it is stunned down. There we go. So Highlanders MR10s going to town now as well. YPR hunting for the M113 in the rear line still. And there we go. Finally the first Leopard 2A4C. The best tank in this matchup. 21 pen, 18 frontal armor. Getting an extra penetration level over the M1A1. And also being faster than the M1A1. So it can hunt those down over the open fields. Or disengage away from them if needed. As the Leopard 1NLs here, they are still a decent plop here, but they can only be used defensively or be enabled by a couple more layer 2s running with them.
Yeah, this is Highlander is getting kettled away so effectively here. Earlier on, I think a lot of it was just fear and timidity. There were positions then that if Highlander would have committed on, would have probably won. And because Hippie just did not have the structure around it to actually hold. But right now, any sort of an attack that's gonna go anywhere is gonna be caught down in the M60 and TOW2 fire, and then Hippie is gonna move all of the massive amount of resources to destroy whatever that attack is. And Highlander kind of knows this, I think, which is why Highlander is gaslighting us and is pretending like this is a defensive game for him. What do you mean I need to get more points? I already won the opener, is the vibe I'm getting here.
Yeah, F-16 here, getting hit, getting killed off. Once the CV of Hippie going down as well. We see more infantry. We see another Leo 2A4. This time a beast leader unit coming into the front line. More 10s on both sides. Reloading. We only have the mortars currently firing though. Setting up another smoke screen here in the front. But no CV here around for Hippie. Not a lot of infantry around for Hippie right now either anymore. He did lose quite a couple there in those center fights and didn't ever replace them. Went on full mechanized with more M60s, with the M1A1s, with a lot of pivots around the battlefield. So that part currently a bit lighter. Highlander still gets a decent amount of infantry all around the place. And 110 firing on where the mortar was a second ago, but Hippie does keep it moving and shooting. Panzer infantry and the infantry in general of Highlander might be somewhat threatening now for Alpha, as Hippie's infantry caught out a bit out of place there in the center zone. Military police patrol and the engineers have to disengage. The M60s and M1A1s in position. More 10. Oh, finds good hit against the Panzer infantry. Good reaction there from Highlander, but still takes good damage on both of those units. Trying to disengage out of there now. M113 and Leo 1NL having to disengage. More Panzer infantry moving forward. YPR coming up as well. Center zone is going to be a really important fighting point here, but for now, both sides still in a stalemate. Ooh, KCT Vercanners. Oh, they are really unlucky. Can they finally get the hit? Oh no, they got one hit and 3 misses against the Bradley in the south. Otherwise, they would have found a Bradley kill there. This way around, the KCT Vercanners likely gonna go down without a kill. Well, ATJM's in the middle. Finds the Leo 1NL. Bradley there with a good kill. M110s already aiming here for the M1A1 in the middle. That would be a good kill. If you fight the M1A1 and then can use your Leo 2s, that could be a big enabler here. Cluster Bomber coming right on top of it, getting the kill. HE Bomber does fail to finish the job. On the other side, the M110's a bit overkill there. Yeah, repositioning onto the M60 now. But yeah, M1A1 is down. This might be the time to go here now for the Panzer Blob. But the Leo 1NL and the Leo 2AC, Leo 2A4 still not moving anywhere.
Yeah, this is it. This is it. There is a moment you just gotta kill, and there is the Bruder is not giving great recon, and the lack of the KCT Vercanners. If it had been spotting, if currently if Highlander knew the way Hippie's units are moving, I think he would attack. And but even then, it's just the timidity. It's I think, like I mentioned, the relatively small technological advantage that 8th US has over the Dutch, and I think we are getting to the point where it's becoming more visible. Like the Leopard 2A4s have been so passive all throughout the game, and they would have been the weaponry to punch through the first M60s that were going to defend the front line. Like if Highlander had 10 minutes or 8 minutes in the game revealed the Leopard 2 in the attack that also had the M60s defending early on, there would have been a moment, there would have been like a situation where the blob could have exploited itself really well and gained some new ground. And just every minute, Hippie obviously agreed with your assessment on the town's garrison. And even though the Rangers were kind of the quick response force, now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 infantry units being bought and moving in, and 10 actually if you count the extra Fireteam 84.
Yeah, M60 has been coming in now. For the south, we see a couple more Leo 2s and
Leo's moving.
one. And here we go. Smoke has been popped all around. Ooh, the exceptional recon vehicle though. The Bruder has been pushed back. Needs to come forward again to help out spotting. And the rest of the plop is slower. That's always a bit of an issue. Leo 2s are faster than everything else. So if you just attack order with everything, the Leo 2s will end up a good bit ahead of everything else. And they're maybe face checking a bit too much. One of the weaknesses of the Leo 2 is the 6 side armor. So if they go in there on their own, they might be in trouble, but they just gonna capture the zone. Gonna try to get the point lead here up. Cluster Bomber and HE Bomber coming along. Oh, the M60s are in for a lot of pain. Stingers do miss. Oh, Hippie never lucky here right now with the missiles. Does get a hit there with a Sparrow. At least will keep the enemy out for a while. One of the Stingers. Oh, doesn't get hit by the bombs. Stingers finally lucky. Get the kill there, but the M60 is going down. Ihawks find a hit against the F-16A. And the M113s and Leos here now could push on further. Highlander has to take now a side point advantage.
Yeah, but meanwhile, those infantry units I mentioned, bunch of them are actually moving in to attack the sawmill, which is red territory right now. And Highlander does not have the mech units out there to actually defend, and they just spent a bunch of their air units as well. And unlike the Americans, the Dutch don't have any helicopters, so the Americans can just quickly change the course of the sawmill infantry fights. Now, with the blob moving out of the smoke, with Leopard 1s getting kettled in,
Yeah, the Leopard 2s left the Leopard 1s alone to die there, and now the smoke clears, and the M1A1 and the Bradleys have a field day against the Leopard 1s there. I don't know why the Leopard 2s just left their brethren out there completely on their own. Like, if you want to do that move, you have to do it with the Leopard 2.
I think this might have been the plan all along when Highlander realized that, oh wow, this is I'm not going to be able to push through this anymore, but I can get the small old-fashioned corner smoke trick out, and now technically Highlander is on defense. But just look at the attack already manifesting up north here, and like with 3 Rangers units coming in, Highlander spotting this and reinforcing with infantry, but that infantry is going to be way too late.
And the infantry coming in here now. Mag Rifle coming in as well. You see Leopard 1 and Else and YPR is holding up the north. TOW 2 coming along. A lot of missiles flying. M60 here trying to get in, but has to be careful. Gets away there for now. Leopard 1 and L and YPR there in a pretty good spot. We see a big counterattack here in the south. M1A1 versus Leopard 2A4. Both sides get a hit. Advantage M1A1. Leopard 2A4 slowly disengaging away there. Gets the Stinger kill. F-16 cluster coming along though. Can the Leopard come around in time to actually get the spotting on? Oh, I think that's gonna be a miss. Yeah, the cluster is completely whiff. And the M1A1 does get the better aim. Does get the hit there. And that means Hippie now has a flank. Is on the way to Delta. Can take Foxtrot back in a second and is overrunning the sawmill completely right now. So now the tank plop of Highlander has to do something. And the to do something is seemingly a push towards Alpha, realizing that all the infantry left for Charlie and that he has killed all the units pushing into Bravo to keep him occupied there. He can just roll in there now, and that is what he's doing. No, he's not. That's not what he's doing. Oh, he could just move the CV into Alpha, but what he's doing instead is moving up to the sawmill. Okay.
You're spotting the TOW 2 with the tanks, no. And back in the back of the line, one of the infantry reinforcements got killed by that Hippie A-cav, the A-cav that has already run out of fuel a long time ago and still hasn't been taken care of. Now, I think Hippie's main attack getting into the backline in Delta is gonna succeed unless Highlander moves the middle units to immediately strike against this.
Yeah, he has a Leo 2. He gets some CV, transport kills, but he doesn't get a kill on the Leopard, on the M1A1, and the Leopard.
Oh no, but they're going into town. Going into town. The tanks change their direction now.
Yeah, they get the smoke, but the Leopard in the rear goes down, and he doesn't have any air. He doesn't have any helicopters. The rest of the units aren't moving right now. They only start to move now. The M1 Abrams CP coming along. M1 10s have to move, and yet this might work out. M60 gets all the kills in the world. The Leopard 2s are just rolling deep in enemy lines here. Running directly above one M60 here. One of the issues of the Leopards, no heavy MG, so they can't deal with the Hawk there easily. And M60 just shooting down all the Leopard 1 and Ls here right now. Another Leopard 2 is coming along, but they have been trading so terribly against the M1A1s there in the rear line. The autocannons not doing much against the M60. And Hippie about to get a tick online here with the capture of the rear zone. Gets a +2 now, starts to catch up again. Whilst Highlander, the Leo 2 gang, has to be careful now. TOW Cobra coming along. M1 Abrams CP coming in for the north. 9 minutes to go. New CV unit needed for the rear. F-16 cluster coming along. The Leopard 2 this time around.
No, the mech rifles.
Oh, getting a side shot.
Disgusting.
Abrams and Bradleys are going down. M60 still around. Nothing has dealt with the Abrams just yet. More infantry coming in. +3 is up. The Highlanders, Leopard 2s here behind the enemy lines, still occupied. Cobra coming along, another Mud CV coming around. Cluster Bomber gets a kill. Oh, F-16 gets shut down by the Eyehawk. Can't kill the Cobra. The CV for Highlander coming back for the rear zone. Needs to recapture that. Needs to then maybe move south towards Foxtrot. As this take has to be stopped. M1 Abrams CP there in the corner. Still really dangerous. No Leopard 1 else around anymore. No new tanks coming along. Highlander actually investing a lot into the sawmill point with 3 YPRs coming around. And one more of them getting taxed by the M113 that is out of fuel there in that corner case. Well, it's the Leopard, the CVs here in the rear, both in the point, but nothing here to deal with the Abrams easily. Panzer infantry coming forward. They have Carl Gustav, so they will eventually do the job. But it's the Leopard 2 on the front line, running away from the Cobra. Cobra still has some ITO missiles. Cheetah pushing forward now, has to try to rescue the brethren there. Leo 2A4C running away from the Rangers. Oh, Cheetah not there in time. Can the Cobra find the kill? Yes, it can.
No.
But the M1 Abrams CP goes down in the rear point as well, so that CV can move towards Foxtrot now. And we are currently in Trot's territory. Another Leo 2 goes down. Cobra finally bites the dust. But the YPRs in the sawmill point kind of wasted. M60 just picking them off one by one. One Panzer infantry gets unloaded. The Leopard 2A4 CV came around there, got side-shotted by the M113 as well, but finally killed it off. So, yeah.
That thing was elite veterancy at that point.
The Leopard 2A4 will still have a tough time now making it into the zone. The PRCO CV moving towards Foxtrot. Hippie doesn't have much to defend there. Moves a Mud CV CP in there as well. Leo 2A4s from Highlander on the other side already ready. Currently less than 1 point difference between the two players. That would mean a draw. And Highlander would need to get a good take online here to get the win. If this match is a draw, Hippie will win 3-1. If Highlander can win it, it will be a 2 draw in points, as each match is 2 points. If you win it, you get both points. If it's a draw, you get 1 point on that map. Cheetah here, killing off the Blackhawk. TV making it into the zone. YPR moving forward. And the M67 here moving up to engaging the Cheetah. Gets the kill. There is maybe a chance to getting towards Echo here now for Highlander. Has to be careful that Hippie isn't sneaking in the CV behind him though. And he needs more points now. Hippie actually 6 points ahead now. So Highlander needs some points somehow, somewhere. Otherwise, he will lose this game.
Yeah, this is in even the southern attack here, where Highlander has captured the southern position of Foxtrot. Even then, there was a moment when he could have just pushed through with just a little bit more risk taking at this point of the game. But no, the TOW2 managed to get itself in order, and now with the A10, the recon support.
It's MR10s on smoke duty. You don't see that often. As they try to enable the Leopard 2A4 to just get those 6 goddamn points here. Trying to get it into the sawmill. It's a super expensive suicide CV. And it gets killed by the M60 because it was too damaged. So that didn't work out. New point to get the points needs to be found. 4 minutes to go. Alpha is pretty open, but it is Hippie currently getting more points actually. Coco 2 engaging here as well. Against the Leopard 2A4 will go down, but an Abrams behind us coming along as well. Resupply. Good kill on the CV. Go2 here will go down in a second as well. Leopard 2's getting repaired here as the M1A1 coming around. More YPRs coming through the middle. The Genie will have to move through there. And yeah, Highlander just should A-click towards Alpha right now. Oh, MR10 here. Good artillery hits. M1A1 does miss. That is lucky for Highlander. as the M1A1 finally does get a hit, but the HE bomber comes along, finds the job. Rangers now trying to push forward. Highlander just going deep here right now. Ranger Dragons all around.
No, the Ranger Dragons recover. They're going to be able to get side shots.
No side shots so far, but they get a frontal hit. And the Leopard 2s have to disengage. Another spot has to be found here to find those 30 points that Highlander needs to at least make it a draw. If possible more, so the YPRs now start moving towards Alpha. TV, the Janiac TMG has been loaded in. Units moving in there. 2 minute 30s remaining. Another suicide Leopard 2A4 command towards the sawmill. The defense in the south going on. Hippie doesn't have a new CV on the battlefield. Hippie might be flank out of CVs. He has one M1A1, M1 Abrams CP on the sawmill. He has one in Alpha, but that might be about it. So maybe Highlander still can find a way towards getting towards Echo. That could still win the game here, but so little time left. I think if he gets in here now and gets the tick here for a bit, he still will get the draw, but I'm not sure if he can make it in time. The Leopard 2A4B command maybe can make it a +2, +3 here, depending on if he can find the CP mud. That could still do the job. So 1 minute 40 seconds. He needs to move fast here. He needs to just A-click the infantry forward right now in the town. LGB coming along. Oh! It gets the CB! Oh! Hippie might win the game here with that move. Really good snipe. He didn't know exactly where the unit were. He just predicted it. And he gets the zone. He is still in the lead. Oh, more points needed. There is another CB here in the rear. Will be loaded into transport. Has 1 minute, 9 seconds.
Side-shotting the leader, Abrams up north. Abrams bypassing it. Leopard getting through.
Oh! Oh, it gets through. It gets into the point. It gets some points here on the scoreboard. And we are back in draw territory, everybody. The smoke M410 duty did do its job finally. Second suicide layer 2A4 is the charm. I've never seen a frontline bulge like this in this game before, but yeah, we are safely in draw territory. I don't think anything can change this at this point, so a draw it will be.
Yeah, and Highlander here, despite bad form, not already having your secondary CV in the transport, but the Genie Komang does manage to get in the town as well, leading to at least a moral victory in the moment here.
Yeah, +2 situation here for a bit, but this is not enough to get the 200 points that he would have needed to overtake Hippie, but at least he will get into the draw territory. And yeah, here we go. In the end, we have a draw situation, and the game doesn't know what to do there, so there was no F16 coming into screen with a victory or defeat, because yeah, it is a draw after all.
Yeah, so I think our commentary all throughout the game kind of did go pretty well with this. There was a failure to exploit the early successes that Highlander got, leading to basically Hippie getting to play as safely as possible, and especially the massive investment in those M60s instead of the heavier tanks created an opening that Highlander could have actually exploited had he secretly transitioned into like buying 2 Leopard 2s and then doing the attack with them while Hippie had bought all the reinforcements in M60s. None of that happened, of course, because I think at some point the kind of paralyzed nature of Highlander's position kind of led him to just be like, well, I'm going to do the old-fashioned. I'm going to corner smoke this zone, and I'm going to play it as safely as possible. I'm not going to give the enemy any opportunities to force me, to punish me, to have me overextend. No. And the weakness in that strategy, which worked out pretty well, was that the sawmill was not fortified enough. the fact that the sawmill was not fought over, which is probably largely a result of Hippie's really good recon play all throughout the game. Like the scouts units, even without their AT weapons, would have amazing coverage of all the reinforcement roads. Not to mention, of course, the ACAV unit and all the other kind of harassment done, especially in the forested area, was really good at disincentivizing Highlander psychologically from reinforcing that area. And by the time that fight actually happened, like it was not it was not barely even a contest, and that is what locked us into the draw. If Highlander had prepared for that attack a little bit better, I think that could have been a Highlander win. Of course, in those engagements, it's all a little bit dice rolling with players on these levels. I still think Hippie played excellently. I think Hippie was also kind of uncertain on what to do and decided to just wait until the last 10 minutes to actually start out the attack. And I think everything happened so fast. I can barely even give criticism about Hippie's play in the end. But
I think
at least
the only mistake of Hippie was throwing a bit too much infantry directly into the meat grind in the middle so that he didn't have anything to hold Alpha with. Like, if he would have had 1 or 2 infantry units there in the end, because he wouldn't have been as careless with the infantry. Like, he played really, really well with the mechanized forces. Just his infantry play may be a bit weaker than Axis here, throwing those a bit too much away. If he would have had 1 or 2 infantry units there, he, I think, could have gotten the win on this map as well. But this way, he gets the win in the series, and he gets a 3-1 win in that. So getting 3 points there. That 1 point could bite him in the long run, or maybe could save Axis in the long run as well. Those points often are pretty important, at least for second or first place, but maybe also for second or third place, which then would mean that you don't make it into playoffs. So gonna be interesting to see how this all plays out. And yeah, we will move on now to the next matchup, Nocturna versus Sneaky Black Guy, aka SBG. So quick break, guys, and then we're gonna be back with the next one. So here we return, everybody. Game number 2, Nocturna versus SBG. And we are once more back to Black Forest. And we're back with a pretty interesting old school meta matchup. 11th ACAF versus 5th Blindée. Both of these divisions are still pretty good though. And yeah, picks and bans. First Canadian, 8th US, Warrant 19th, 20th Panzerna, 79th, and 1st Ankova. So the Armored Mech meta is still around, everybody, and all of those maps divisions getting banned. We have Surrounded coming up as well. SBG picking Surrounded for the first time, so that'll be interesting to see that map in action. And we're gonna have 3rd US Armored versus 4th Divisie in second game, so that's going to be a really fun matchup as well. And if you guys want to get a bit more involved into all of this, check out the Fantasy League, where you can pick your favorite dream team and let them play for you, and you can get points for each win they get. You have 400 buckaroos that you can spend, and you have to pick at least 6 players, maximum of 9, and yeah, just go around, pick your team, and get points. As you can see, we already put in the first couple of results here. First couple of points already have been given to fans of Griffon, for example. And yeah, let's get around and let's see what this match is going to bring. Nocturna here on the left side with the 5th Blindée, SBG on the right side with 11th ACAF. Iowa Worry here already ready, M1A1 and Recon Bradley on the way in as well. This is going to be an exciting mech or armored matchup here.
Yeah, I checked that the 11th horse by SBG was taken as a counter to Nocturna's fifth Blindée, and I think that's it's pretty clear why. The 5th Blindée gets one of the best mech openers with the AMX-10 Surblindes, and with the Dragon Para supporting them with a nice recon unit that can start holding ground and spotting for all the great French missiles, whether they come in on as infantry, as helicopters, or as vehicles. All of them more than enough to fight even the heaviest targets. And the problem is that how is your AMX-10 attack going to work out when your enemy is running a Recon Abrams supported by a Kiowa Warrior? That's almost like that is a technological level more advanced in the opener, and it's going to require Nocturna to try to like exploit the numbers advantage, or just somehow not even engage with the Abramses. And this will mean that Nocturna is going to have to play around the fact that there is a Recon Abrams, and giving the Recon Abrams division a little bit of an early tempo and momentum lead even. The problem is that 11th horse has nowhere near as great fundamentals as the French. You get iHawks, which is more than enough. You get LRS, which is more than enough. But you don't have a core to fight long battles, especially with infantry. You have a bunch of M1 Abrams tanks, but if your entire plan is to have mass Abrams at like 30 minutes or 25 minutes in, at that point, the French have littered the ground with Hot 2 and Milan 2 missiles, and you're going to out attrition yourself by delaying the fight into that point. So most likely, I think SBG gonna try to basically start getting kills out of the French opener, and who knows what's going to happen after that one. Most likely, the pressure here is absolutely on 11th horse.
Yeah, and yeah, we have a good couple of light infantry behind all of this, but the AMX then opener into like this is Nocturna full on confidence mode. We might see a double fighter opener to try to clean Kiowa Warriors. Like this is going to be interesting to see what is going to happen in the air, because if you don't clean the Kiowa Warrior, this opener doesn't seem all that strong. Like you will be slowed down, and then the Bradleys and the M1A1 ACAF can take their positions. Like it's all about the Kiowa Warrior and where the AMX-10s can go. This is the big question mark here over this whole game. But we have similar kind of follow-up on both sides. Some infantry in IFVs, on the other side a couple of VABs around. Both sides fully focused around Foxtrot and Bravo. So they both know what it's all about here. Just going to be 1 or 2 units here making a big difference in the opener here.
Yeah, and the Kiowa Warrior is 120 points, and I believe that's pretty close to one of the French fighters nowadays. Is the Mirage 3, which is like 130 points. And Nocturna, despite having, I think, universally almost worse planes than 11th Horse, the F-16s having the best heat seekers and all of that, the advantage of being able to throw out a cheap fighter to dive the 4 health Kiowa Warrior, I think that might be a little bit too big of a price to avoid. And if that happens, the Ihawk doesn't manage to like destroy the plane before the Kiowa is dead, or if Sneaky did not buy enough air supremacy fighters covering the Kiowa, that could also kind of change the early tides.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I feel like the Ihawk is a mistake. I think you want to have 2 F-16s here at the start, or at least 1 F-16, and then a second one on minute 2, and like having one of them keeping the enemy busy so that you can keep the Kiowa ready. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think there's going to be a fighter on the other side. This is not 1,500 points. It might even be 2 fighters here. Not bought yet though, as the MX-10's moving in. Kiowa Warrior on the other side coming up as well. Maybe you wait until you see it, though I feel like that's a bit risky. Kiowa Warrior coming in. MX-10's on the other side, rushing in as well. And yeah, Fingers in the real line. Bradley's coming along. But we have a good amount of Sublines on the other side here. Now racing forward, 3 of them all around. The French fast killers. 90 penetration. There comes the Mirage. This is the key unit here. If that can get the Kiowa Warrior, and that likely will be, as there's no F-16 on the other side. No F-16. Big mistake here in my eyes by SBG. And Kiowa Warrior does survive. Okay. Mirage 200s are really pretty shit.
It's so fast. It's suffering from success, and the success is having the top speed in the game for only 185 points. Now the F-16 engaging with his long-range missile gets a hit, loses.
I am so sorry, Mirage 200, for ever doubting you. It actually loses to the Mirage 200, and the Kiowa does survive again, though. Mirage 200 number 2 coming around. Okay, I got punished there, and SBG in succession for here. There we go. Kill is out. Pivot not able to get around. Mirage 200 trying to get out, doesn't make it. Ihawk at least catches up, but the Blindées are enabled now, and the M1A1 ACAF is on the wrong spot right now. It's further north where there is no MX-10s. The Bradley is here, not able to get the kill. Blind not able to kill the Bradley at least though either, so it can retreat for now. But the Blind's now around, and the French infantry here now able to get into the town. M1A1 ACAF really, I don't know why it moved that way.
Yeah, I think I think SBG successfully predicted that was going to be a middle attack, but I think he also predicted that the French were going to try to get those buildings north side of the zone and to cut off that reinforcement road. That is a really powerful position to have an ATGM, for instance, or to have an AMX-10. And but there was nothing there. The AMX-10s went in on the more passive, the safer road of the southern roads. And so now the ACAV's early advantage is kind of been neutered because it's most positioned to act as a fire support tank against the Dragon Paras and the Grenadier Voltigeurs. So in that sense, Nocturna managed to right choice, and Nocturna kind of has the advantage here for the momentum, though a Bradley is on a sideline to flank the AMX 10s if they ever move out there. But yeah, even that Bradley is not in a sustainable position. The Eclairers are going to take them.
Oh, the double kill hit in the side. Apilas
No.
getting the kill against the M1A1 ACAF. Oh, this is so bad. This was the unit that did hold all of this together. Now the Sublines can just push over the open. Bradleys will try to find a side shot here, but the Sublines can shoot first. And that Bradley is in trouble. Gets a kill against one of them. Will try to disengage here. But the second shot comes out, gets the kill. We have another M1A1 coming, but it's not on the front line yet. And that means Nocturna actually can just dive deep here. Oh, the Hawk coming around, M1A1 coming in. Hawk moving forward, VABs rushing in there, Martyrs coming around, Dismounted the Trooper, and Engineer Flash here with the flanking move, but that flanking move is hitting a flank that is obsolete at this point. VABs pushing forward, Nocturna moving in there, has the +2 already. SBG holds the Charlie point, but MX-30 is coming up, but the Nocturna's infantry here just able to dive deep. F-16 coming around again. M1A1 is on the battlefield. The Hawk M1A1 combo will be able to at least stop the vehicles here most likely, but dealing with the infantry won't be easy, and you will have to wait for reinforcements. Martyr coming around, and no real recon here right now either.
Yeah, and the commandos here, a great example for Nocturna on why a card of helicopter infantry can be really good in your deck, because in this way you can basically, when you get this kind of a momentum or this chance to gain ground, you can just reinforce with these helicopter-borne infantry, and they're going to be there before even SBG's ground units. And at this point, to basically recapture Delta, there needs to be multiple squads of engineers or enough of an air supremacy for the helicopters to basically kill all of this. And the Abramses are too risky. They cannot get close.
Oh.
It's inefficient to get bombers, even though they can get nice kills.
Yeah, the LGB gets some decent kills. Ooh, iHawk gets a kill onto the commandos and the transports as well. Mistral is a bit annoying, otherwise the Super Blindée could be taken out as well. LGB with some important kills here. Needs a CV to get Delta though. Iltis Führung's rotating around right now, but it's moving the wrong road. It needs to move the safe one. It should move the longer way and the safer route, otherwise it will just die to MX-30s there. M1A1 moving forward. Hawk here holding the side against the MX-10 Hot. M1A1 Abrams finds the Sublime, gets the kill there. Engineers will get found in the rear here. Quick fix moving around. MX-10 Hot goes down. Hawk disengaging. F-16 cluster coming along. That's a bit of an overinvestment into air right now. More infantry, more engineers here on the front line would be more helpful here, enabling the M1A1 again. Maybe some helicopters, though with the Rolands and the Mistral, that's not really helpful either. M1A1 finds another unit here, slowly moving forward. Panzer infantry coming in. Yeah, the Iltis Führung's now moving around the flank here. Tries to get back into the zone.
Abrams gets some distance, so it was pretty close of getting to the 750 meter, 80 weapons range.
Yeah, Martyr does miss against the MX-30s. Cluster Bomber will find one. Roland does miss, so that's some value, but the infantry is now on the front line. The Hawk not reloaded, and another Cluster Bomber here instead of more infantry. So, and he only has 5 minutes, and he has to get into the zone. So doing that is not going to be easy. Will aim for the Roland. Oh, the bomber's not hitting the mark. Roland does survive there. M1A1 here pushing forward. Iltis Führungs can't make it in right now though. Quick fix under fire. Gets the stun there, but there is still an Apilas there. No infantry on the way. The other infantry a bit out of position here. On the flanks.
The Mistral hits the supply. The supply seems to be landing, though.
Yeah.
Okay, now the engineers are coming in. At least they're fast deployed, but still, yeah, like this is like committing to killing the Roland 2 and not managing to do that, that's such a big hit, because it speaks of SBG still thinking of the long game, still wanting to build that victory condition combination of aircraft and recon helicopters and tanks that you can actually win with on the long term. But the LGB bomber just kind of went in on the wrong spot, and now it's getting tagged by the Roland 2, and 3 more Roland 3s are coming in. So investment and all those bombers and all those planes not actually getting anything done here. This is done now. Once the Roland 3s are in there, there is no chance, even if somehow the point stick were to stop right now. Even then, I think Nocturna would be getting this, because there's just so many points invested, and those Rolands can take all those planes out.
Yeah, I think the first cluster bomber on the side, that was a good investment. That would have forced an air reinvestment as well, but currently it's just a bit too much time waited here. M1A1 on its own, and the infantry coming in a bit late here. Cluster bomber will find a good hit, won't fight the kill though, and will go down itself. Second cluster bomber coming along here for some more kills. Will actually focus the Roland here. Roland 3 behind though, together with the Mistrals coming along. Engineers unloaded and over there. The Hawk has to move forward. MX-10 around. M1A1 now will try to move up. MX-10 does get gunned down. New CV making it in for Nocturna though. That is a really important move here right now. Villain able to keep the tick at a +4, and with the tick already so far along, that will reduce the time that SBG has here by a good bit as well, even if they make it into the zone here in the next 2 minutes, as they will have to get one zone further to stop the tick fully, and only one M1A1 here around. The M1A1 ACAV going down like that really was the nail in the coffin. Quick units here now coming in, new cyanide helicopters. Rennis getting the kill on the infantry here now. M1A1 not around to rotate there, as the infantry keeps it off from moving there with all the 750 meter range AT, and again, no chance for the CV right now to enter it. Roland 3s coming up in numbers. Dismounted troopers weren't really in position to intercept. They could have been there a while ago and maybe kill the Roland 3s. Mistral arriving on the front line. Cyanide firing its rockets now, but going down to the Mistral just before. Hildersprungs getting in, buying a bit more time here. Gets shut down though, and that is GG. As that will mean the +6 days. Next CV won't be there in time. So this will be 1 minute 30 remaining here. And yeah, Nocturna will get map number 1.
Yeah, and very decisively here. It's not that, like, there was a series of unfortunate events, as there always are when 2 players of such caliber face, and one of them just immediately gets some kind of a complete wipeout, as we saw here. Like, the first mistake here, or the first event, was the ACAV getting routed north side of middle position instead of south, and then not keeping that tank in the north, working together with the BGS Rife, and holding that front line and doing damage on long range, forcing the French to do something about it. No, moving that tank out into a more defensive position, and then not microing it away until it got side shot. Yeah, that was the end there. At no point did the huge investment on the ACAV really pay off, and also the despite the very, very lucky dodges that the Kiowa Warrior did, it also did not pay for itself. And the early air investments there, I think I kind of agree with you that the iHawk could have just gone like 1 minute after. It's pretty cheap anyways, 113. We get 2 of them per minute. So having the fighter out early, to just like bait out the enemy, to spot the enemy's aircraft from long distances, so you can save your Kiowa Warrior and not just have to, without the fighter, you're basically giving that there's like this 1 minute period in which your Kiowa is free prey.
Yeah, and it shows in the KD it wasn't super far apart. You need just to get a cleaner early game as the 11th ACAF though, because if your combined arms ever falls apart, it's hard to pick it up again with this division. Your units are pretty expensive, and getting that combined arms together again is tough. And then if you overinvest into air, that doesn't help the situation really. So in the end, a decisive victory here for Nocturna in points on the map. Really played 5th Blindée like you are supposed to play it in this matchup, and kept the pressure on, and really used the strong infantry with the good AT launchers bell to get the zoning on. And with that, pushed on, got the points, got the victory here in 12 minutes. And that means we will move on to game number 2 here. And we'll see if SBG can find a better opener there, or if Nocturna can do another strong push like this. So see you all there in a minute with actually a matchup where Nocturna maybe is the one doing the slower play. Because I just remembered what the matchup is going to be, as you have 3rd US versus 4th Divisie on Surrounded. So let's go Surrounded, everybody. Let's go Surrounded. And here we go. Rounded it is. First match on this new map. As we have a pretty interesting plateau here for everybody in the middle of the map. As this map is one of the new ones. It's not one of my favorite ones, as it is really centered around this plateau. And it's not the easiest to read there. But it's going to be interesting to see what they play. I'm also interested to see why they pick 3rd US here, in Nocturna's case. 4th Divisie, I think, makes kind of sense. So you want to be somewhat quick in there, but the M110s make sense. It's going to be interesting to see how the M1A1s and M1A1HAs here from Nocturna are going to be played. And before we make a quick jump in there, quick thanks to all of you guys for supporting us on Matcherino. As We are at $400 already. Sequia Dog here coming in with another $25, getting us over the $400 price pool threshold. And also, we only have 5 codes remaining at the second stream, guys. You are absolutely amazing. And yeah, 5 more claim codes, guys. Press the button, add 25 cents completely for free to the prize pool. Much appreciated for all the support there. And yeah, let's get back into the action.
Yeah, so I have a theory of the third US pick here, and so far this map's development in WARNO culture has basically been that at first sight people looked at it and were like, oh, there's like a huge city in the middle. This is an infantry map. You're gonna fight this with infantry. But Protoss, if you zoom in on the plateau and you use the line of sight tool to show the public about how loose the buildings are and how basically no building is actual cover for infantry. Everything, and at least most buildings, can be engaged from at very long distances. And then there has been a counter effect of people realizing, oh, this is a tank map. This is an armored division map where the buildings actually prevent airborne divisions from rushing you. So this people are, at least here we can see Nocturna testing out the most passive divisions, and if the plateau and the plateau's natural defensive capabilities can allow third to be valid. And on the plateau, if you look at right at the side, I think it's pretty common for people to overextend and try to push outside of it. But the safe way to play on both sides is to get buildings and get positions where you can prevent the enemy from moving in on the plateau. So have fire control over the entrances, and that's basically the win condition on many parts. If you try to push even a little bit further in, you're going to get punished so hard by all the fire support equipment that your enemy is going to have. And also, on the other hand, if you counterattack this, you're going to want to have a very small amount of infantry and recon with a very large amount of vehicles that can move and basically reposition themselves to every building wherever the enemy happens to be.
Yeah, snipers moving in here in the middle, trying to get a foothold in there and trying to get an understanding of what's going to come for them. We have a lot of tanks here on both sides. A lot of Leopard 1 and Elts here, actually. On only one Layer 2A4 in each group here. Little infantry for SBG as the tanks coming in the north and the south as a group. But we have a good couple of fire teams and engineers here from Nocturna with 2 M1A1s behind it. So these 2 M1A1s can beat each of the groups on each side. But if both groups can find a way to engage them together, they obviously are in a bit of trouble. So this is going to be interesting. The side zone here at Golf will go to Nocturna. The other one maybe as well, as the BO105 here doesn't have a gun. So the fire team is able to move in there as well. Leopard 2s and Leopard 1s moving in here towards the center. And yeah, a lot of infantry getting out, and the 2 Abrams here following up right into the fight as well.
Yep, SBG running off with a Stinger who almost deployed in front of the sniper down south. Meanwhile, in the middle, third US has a massive infantry advantage, but so far, is that infantry gonna attack all at once? Most likely not. That infantry is gonna attack until they spot a KCT Werkeners and start shooting at it, and then the Abramses are going to be doing the actual duty. Right now, Abrams is opening fire on the KCT Werkeners that is on the church building. This church, one of the very few towers on this map, which is something I actually enjoy. I think this is having too many high rises on this area would have been very obnoxious, and kind of like center the map, design the map too rigidly. And yeah, now Burdur and 3 leopards opening fire on some engineers, and engineers running off. M1 Abramses are moving in to position themselves. And yeah, there's gonna be a firefight soon.
Oh, Bradley in the south, going deep here, running over his Stinger. and going for some ambush positions. This is going to be interesting. BO105 might have spotted that. Panzer Infantry here on the way to intercept as well. Okay, this is interesting. This is always really annoying S4 of Divisie, because you don't have helicopters to deal with situations like that. Now the Leopards and the Abrams do meet in the middle. Leopard 1NL takes a lot of damage. So does one of the M1A1s here. The Leopards in the north try to get a flank as well, but they have to be careful. There are infantry with 84s close by, so they can't get in there easily. Fireteam 84 and engineers caught and will get killed off, but they buy the M1A1's time to disengage there. That is pretty key here. But we see the first couple of infantry units now for SBG arriving into the center grind as well.
Oh no, the Bradley getting the Panzerinfanterie and also almost bursting down the recon helicopter. So it's still gonna keep being there, keep being a problem. But meanwhile, one of the Abramses has to retreat, and this leaves the one Abrams soloing everything the Dutch are bringing at them. And so if the Abrams pushes in any way too far in, it's going to get side shot. The two groups of one Leopard 2 and two Leopard 1, and a Purdur to provide the radar optics. Excellent choice from a sneaky black guy here. I think excellent idea to basically abuse the recon advantage and the numbers advantage that you have as 4E. And so far now, a Kiowa Warrior and another A1 Abrams and a third A1 Abrams moving in. So passivity here for SPG might backfire in just a moment. Also a cluster plane out here waiting, and with decent but limited air defenses.
Leopard finds the Bradley now in the rear. Does miss.
Oh.
Oh, has to smoke off, has to push through afterwards. Follow against the Bradley before the Bradley can do damage to the BO105. Does miss again. Okay, now it has to fall back into the smoke. Might just go for the second shot. Does miss again. Yeah. That is unfortunate. There's one bad Leopard 2A4 afterwards. Bradley has a long reload there. No. Oh my goodness. This is just getting a bit hilarious at this point. I mean, it is pretty stressed out right now. Bradley can't find another missile. We see it. Cluster F-16 now finishing the job. But the Leopard 2 couldn't. Yeah, that is unfortunate. TV in the middle, capturing the point. Fireteam 84 now pushing forward. They are scary for the Leopard 1NLs especially. And engaging the Jennies as more Panzer infantry comes in there. Smoke popping around. Leopard 2A4B moving forward. But we have the Cluster Phantoms moving around in the rear. Genius moving up. Panzer infantry coming in there now. They are scary for even the Abrams here with their Carl Gustavs, so sides here have to be careful of each other now. Yes, we have 3 Abrams in the middle already. Cluster B in the rear, Cheetah and Ihawks in the middle. Another Cheetah might be nice, another Stinger coming up as well. So 2 Stingers teams in the middle there. Afterwards, Panzer Infantry pushing forwards now. Going back to Fireteam and the Engineers. Trying to find some kills. No MR10 on the battlefield yet. This is really helpful in this map as well. As, yeah, the building numbers are more limited than they look like, especially the important buildings. So the MR10s can start taking those out bit by bit relatively quickly usually. But the Leopards here need some repairs. And then fight here, another mortar coming up. Flight truck coming in. Panzer Infantry trying to get through. Doesn't catch the enemy in transport though. Comes in just a bit too late to catch the fire teams in transport. The Humvees are still around, but Panzer Infantry tries to go deeper here than they maybe can allow to do. Will get gunned down by the Abrams quite quickly. Some fire support comes in from the rear, but 2 of the Panzer Infantry already down. More of them on the way down as the Leopards try to help out here. And the Abrams and the Ihawks still all fine. TV does go down. Leopard 2A4 immediately gets hit hard by the Kiowa Warrior with the Hellfire. Doesn't go down, but is down to 2 hit points now, so needs to get the hell out of there. Lots more tanks coming from the side. Give fire support. Genius coming around. Big fight going on here now in the middle. Leopard 1s and Leopard 2s versus the Abrams here. Abrams pushing in numbers. The Panzer Infantry and the Genius not quite close enough. Cluster Bomber coming in for the Leopard 2. Will get the assistance to get the kill. Bradley and Abrams finishing the job. The Cluster Bomber still alive. No tanks on the kills on the Abrams yet. Leopard 2, number 2 goes down before it could get repaired. 1 Abrams goes down, but 2 Leopard 2s down. The last one still getting repaired. The infantry pretty low in numbers here. This is going south quite quickly right now for SBG. He needs to get some kills here. Needs to maybe at least finish one more M1A1. The Kiowa Warrior and the Apache now in the rear here doing a good job. As the M1A1s, 3 of them still on the front line. Only 1 Leopard 2 remaining. And this is a big problem now for SBG.
Yeah, Nocturna was playing this safely, was moving their Abrams back as soon as trouble even started like appearing at all, playing and giving out ground and hoping SBG would overextend, and that is exactly what happened. M1A1s have excellent like HE capabilities, having the 50 cals and double medium machine guns, and with these numbers existing here and the fact that American infantry is pretty decent anyways. Yeah, the cluster...
That this Abrams survives is so unfortunate as well. Not the best of luck here for SBG this game. Kiowa Warrior and Phantom go down, so at least finally some kills there, but that the Abrams lives. If that Abrams would have died, I think this would be salvageable for the middle, but he also has to worry about the north right now. +2 currently for Nocturna. And that Abrams lives is such a big issue because the numbers game is still in favor. And once you have the numbers game, you can't just push it from there. The MR10, I think, is a comeback mechanic here that shouldn't be underestimated. But we need to first get a stabilization of the point take on here. If he at least moves into the middle, that could be helpful. And you need to get Alpha back under control.
Yeah, the cluster plane on those Leopard 2s, like that was when it was really finished. The flank and the concave for the Dutch tanks gave enough danger for Nocturna not to push in and actually kill everything. But when those 2 tanks on the northeast flank were destroyed, that really was it. Now SBG is going to have to rebuy a bunch of stuff, and I think very correctly not going into the middle, but instead fighting on the secondary front, getting a Bradley there, which was the heaviest unit defending this. Another Bradley in the southwest, not in a position to fire right now. So with the recon helicopter and recon units, could be a decent place to kind of try to lure Nocturna in. Nice counterpunch. Meanwhile, 2 engineers and a Fireteam Dragon under all the artillery striking very close to the wounded Leopard 2A4B. Fortunately, that is only 155mm artillery, and the Dutch 203 still have the supremacy here. How do they? Wait, where is the... Is the big gun dead? Where's the big gun? Was I blind? Was there not a big gun?
There was a big gun.
No.
I'm not quite sure what happened to it. The mortars did die. Yeah,
I think
got shut down.
Moved northeast.
It got killed off. It's burning over here. But yeah, I'm not quite sure what got it. I think it might have been the Fireteam Dragon actually that got the kill there. Or the Bradley from the side. But yeah, this is a big loss. Pushing it over the edge. Big mistake there. Should have stayed just behind the edge. And yeah, engineers and fire teams now able to push forward here. And the M110, I said it was a comeback. Now that's gone. And that's going to make a comeback in this matchup a lot harder. This is going to be a big problem.
The genies, the zero vet Dutch engineers were just not powerful enough to fight off their more like just flat out better American cousins. Americans have veterancy 1, they have 2 extra guys, and they have better guns. The genies were also outnumbered in because they did not all move in at once. They moved in two at a time, giving the Americans time.
The M113 is losing 2-1 versus a Bradley. Oh, this is this is another rough fight. Gets the Abrams at least with the clusters. We have a bit of a flanking push attempt in north. Eagles here now holding back the F-16s. Cheetah at least gets the kill there. At the same time, though, holding in the center here with Panzer Infantry and Genius is going to be tough. The Leopard 2 under fire by the M109. And there is still an Apache rocket. There is still an M1A1 here on the flank. This Leopard 1, Leopard 2 combo in the north is going to be interesting, but it's not going to have an easy time there. Killing the Abrams would be big. Killing the M109 would be even bigger. This is maybe what can still do a difference. Leopard 2 has the first shot here. Oh! Does only get a frontal hit. And the Leopard 1 not here to follow it up. Leopard 2 will go down here. Yeah, it does even smoke off a slight bit too late. And that means the flank on the north is dead. With that, most likely the game is dead here for SBG.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult here now. Last infantry defending the plateau is getting gunned down with only one Leopard 2A4B here defending with an HA basically getting close to two-hit or two-hit ranges for the Leopard 2A4B. And yeah, at that point, I think it was just Sneaky had a pretty decent position. If Sneaky had played more aggressively, the fight would have happened before those two extra M1A1s. But Sneaky did not play that aggressively, instead opting to build out and scale out a little bit more. And the infantry that they managed to get on board was then used in a very patient attack that where the patience basically just and the slow build up with the smokes mostly just worked to allow Nocturna to prepare for it, and then Nocturna completely like sideswiped the leopards off the board. Nocturna had been waiting for a moment to use the cluster bomber, a moment to engage for a long time. The cluster bomber was like pretty close to actually running out of fuel because it had been waiting for so long. But when it came right on time, and that really was it. From that point on, no realistic way for Sneaky to contest this. I think the investment into the infantry fight probably not the best idea, considering the engineers. The infantry fight could have probably been won in some other way, but just like trying to get the center with standard infantry, and maybe not the way. Maybe the infantry should have tried to move from the sides of the town, because with the Carl Gustavs they could have maybe got themselves in like positions that could have exploit something. But no, unfortunately, too late and too slow.
Yeah, try to find kill here. Yeah, Bradley got the M110 pushing through the middle. So that was just out of position there. And in the end here, this time around, a clear KD for Nocturna as well. Nearly 1,000 points ahead. And yeah, really well taken fights there. The flank attack was good as well with the Bradley. Obviously a bit unfortunate there for SBG. So that wasn't what lost the game. He still got it cleared out with the cluster bomber and all. But the M110s, I think, could have won this game long term. He just should have maybe played it slower there at that point and just opt into there. Like either play it aggressive from minute one or go the M110 route. The middle way that was attempted here, I don't think really works, and yet didn't work on screen. So, but yeah, the leopard ones then are just not quite good enough to deal enough damage to the M1A ones to really help out there, and then the M1A ones just roll over you. That's exactly what happened here. So GGVP to Nocturna, getting the 2-0 victory here in this matchup, and that brings us to the next series of today, which will be Griffon versus Zxcvster, aka Jeremy. That's going to be an interesting one as well, seeing how Griffon fits in. Already did beat MJ Player. If they can beat Jeremy, they really showed that starting him into Division 1 was absolutely worthwhile. So it's going to be interesting to see how they go up in that matchup. And yeah, let's put this in here. Nocturna 4-0 course, a sneaky black guy here.
Yeah, can I just mention that attack trying to like concave or flank heavier tanks, and the unit combinations of one Predator Recon, one Leopard 2, and two Leopard 1s, that was so good from Sneaky. I love to see that. And it was so powerful that like immediately Nocturna like had to cede so much ground. And I think that really when the ceding of the ground happened was kind of where this unit advantage and the numbers advantage should have been exploited. Like the third US allowing them to scale like that. Oh, it was such a shame. But I love to see. I don't think I've ever seen on a map like people just have two equivalently large mechanized formations attacking from different directions at the same enemy. That's why I love the new maps, even if they may not be top tier or whatever. This is WARNO. We have bad maps. It's okay. I want interesting games.
So yeah, let's get into game number 2. See you all there in a minute. So yeah, Jeremy did a oopsie with the uploads, and we just realized that he uploaded the wrong game at first. So we need 1 more minute, guys, and we're gonna be back for you with some more action. All fine, all fine. We found the right replays. We made an oopsie, but yeah, gonna be back there in a minute. Einmal mit Profis. So here we return, everybody. Griffon versus the Zxcvster, aka Jeremy, and we are in for a good one now, as we are on airport. We are here with the old guard, 5th Blindée, versus the new guard, 4th Divisie. On the other side, picks and bans, pretty standard. Div mob still feared by many. Second UK and second Panzer Grenadier, DOG divisions still feared by many. Airport and Mount River, 2 old maps. 2 people here shying away from the new ones so far. First Canadian as a new division, especially with the air power and so on. Pretty scary, so that gets banned as well. And then 20th and 9th Panzerna on the other side, the 2 best T-72 divisions, most likely, since the nerfs to first Panzerna. Makes sense as well. Matchup in the second one gonna be interesting. 35th versus 119th on Mount River. But let's talk about what we got ahead of us here.
Yeah, so far, looking at the Griffon's deployment here on the 4th Dutch armor, this seems to be, so far, quite standard. The excellent Werkener's AT, as well as the KCT Werkener's Spec Ops units, all of them going into pretty standard locations. They are taking one going into Zulu, one going into the middle tower, going into Echo, and also most likely trying to get these far corners of the map covered with recon, so as to avoid the AMX-10 breakthroughs. These are also there are also Werkener's AT, which have the Carl Gustav launchers, which are an excellent tool against the AMX-10 RCs. 2 tanks, 2 Leopard 2A4Bs, as well as a single Cheetah, expensive but very capable, and behind enough anti-air and recon, also a pretty safe buy. And recon, especially early on in this game before the enemy starts taking it out with or smoking it out. Recon extremely powerful. So early on, the Leopard 2s can move around and engage as they will. They also are very fast and have great stabilizers, so they are pretty good at doing that. Very limited mechanized infantry deployment with the Panzerinfanterias coming with the PRIs here. Kind of expecting the French to get the first hit in, and then most likely to counterpunch with the better tanks. Meanwhile, the French going basically all in on Echo. Echo being the area of choice here. You can get into Zulu as the red player. You can invest into infantry fighting, and the French have better infantry. But this is not necessary. If you want to go for the kill, you can go in for the kill, and that's when you buy basically largely only mechanized units. AMX 30B2s have enough HE damage, and you have enough recon around to spot the limited number of early units with the Dutch. The Dutch probably are going to be fighting a northeastern push to the northeast direction in trying to get the French out of Echo, and then French are gonna sit back there and start buying infantry to hold it. That's my guess here. The near complete lack of infantry for Jeremy's opener here kind of tells me that it's not gonna stop onto Echo, but instead going to push through and try to get those Leopard 2A4 kills. You have bombers. You don't have the best ones, but you have good enough bombers as 5e to do that. You only need to get them into a bad position and have enough Alouettes and Surblinde spotting.
Yeah, Mirage coming around, flying above all of this, as it will try to hunt down the BO, will try to allow the Gazelle Cannons to get onto the KCT cannons. If the Gazelle Cannons can get them off the battlefield, then both the AMX 10s can get a better job, and also the Dragon Paras have an easier job hiding away from the enemy. The L105 here going down. So yeah, the Gazelle Cannons have a pretty important job. Yeah, if you push through Echo, there is nothing really behind that, but it is a pretty important one. What you sometimes see also with the fast divisions is trying to push towards Alpha or Papa. You don't see it as often towards Alpha, but I think that's actually an advantage that enables it sometimes to work because the enemy doesn't expect it. But currently, this is the classic push towards Echo, and for Griffon, that is fine. As the Leo 2's getting ready behind that. Leo 1 and L going towards the south. F-16 now in the sky to deal with the Gazelle Kazan. So 2.
Gets a photo kill.
Important kill there.
Photo kill.
Yeah. Alouette does live for now. KCT for Canners gets spotted by the Super Blindée. F-16 coming around here. Gazelle Cannons in the north. Finding the KCT Vercanner, but the F-16 comes around in time. So the KCT Vercanner there lives as well. And there comes the Leo 2. MX-10 Super Blindée. Oh, goes down immediately. Smokes a bit too late. Big loss here. Second Super Blindée is having to engage whilst driving. That is terrible for it. It only has 15% accuracy on the move. So getting a hit here against the Leopard is highly unlikely. Leopard will find the VLRA here most likely. Leopard 2A4C has an engagement here once more. Smoke has to come out. Toad 2 here forces the smoke on the other side as well. As we have a +1 growing P4PC coming around. Jaguar AT with the 60% AS60L coming along. Does get shot out, but does miss. And the Cheetah will push it back here. Cheetah immediately gets pinged. MX-10 here, forced to fall back. MX-30Bs can't really do much against the Leo frontally, so that's a problem as well.
Yeah, so far it's not the worst case scenario for Zxcvster, but Griffon has got some excellent positions here. Having a +1 already, not losing any of the key units, and now basically getting into long-range tank fighting against 5e early on. This is basically exactly what they want. Now, currently, Griffon cannot really push further because of the risk of French infantry. And the numbers of French infantry are going to be growing here, I'm sure. But once there is some kind of an infantry component, maybe just like 2 Panzerinfanterie in the ground, with this amount of leopards, you can start pushing pretty early, I think. Griffon already moving in, trying to look for enemies to kill in the middle, moving around the KCT Werkeners. And with the second KCT Werkeners there, and the Leopard 1 waiting, this is Zeremy's got a like kind of turtle here. Zeremy doesn't really have any positions that can survive an attack by Griffon right now, as long as Griffon does the attack properly.
Yeah, it's third Leo 2 coming around. The air attempt there from Jeremy did fail, and it didn't really had a chance of succeeding. Even with a hit, he wouldn't have gotten the kill, so that was a big investment there in something that wouldn't even have gotten him that far further forward. And now going frontal fights with AMX 30s versus Leo 2s doesn't have me all that confident. Griffon here in a good defensive position. Leo 2s coming along in force. Alouette does go down in the north. MX 30 here. MX 10P getting the engagement out. Leo 2 smoking off. Falling back. More MX 30s coming up. MX 10 Alpha 1 coming into the game as well, but no artillery advantage here for 5th Blindée because the M10, M110 coming around on the other side here. So good artillery pieces on both sides, and that means that, yeah, 5th Blindée's only advantage here is the flexibility, and he is not playing into the flexible terrain features here. He is not playing a big surrounding in the north. He is not playing through Zulu. Like, I feel like going for Echo here was playing perfectly onto the plans of the enemy. Oh! But the Super Blindée gets a side shot against the Leo 2A4. Okay. We might be cooking after all.
Yeah, the 750 meter range, it's always more than you think. The greatest attribute of AT weapons, infantry AT weapons, are their range right now. Have always been in this game, really, for this reason. And the M110 is opening fire and getting some hits in on the very important tower with the Dragon Paras and the Milan, managing to not destroy the Dragon Paras, though. So very importantly, keeping that unit alive. And losing the Leopard 2A4B going to delay Griffon's movements here. And the rest of the tanks are actually moving in to try to fight this middle fight. And there is barely any infantry for Griffon here, just some KCT Werkeners doing the spotting. And this is giving kind of space for Zeremy to kind of just delay and force the enemy to fight unimportant fights. The Leopards now moving to this area. I don't know if Zeremy has any units to counter this, but
Super Blindée wasted there. Leopard 2A4 gets the kill. Commandos coming in towards Zulu. MXF1 trying to push out the Leo 2 in the center. This is the kind of spreading that you have to try to achieve. Commandos here coming in with AMX 30 has to fall back. You need to try to find side shot opportunities. You want to have the Leo 2 movement around time and again. Mirage failing to get the kill here. Jaguar coming along. Gets the ATGM out. Does miss. Oh, this is unfortunate there. 60% accuracy. ATGM would have been a side shot even at this point. So Griffon there, really lucky that that Leopard 2A4C lives. And that is a big difference there. Those Leopard 2A4Cs, you only got 2 of them. So having them live here, really important. Commandos, only one of them made it out alive. The MX-30s here now coming down to the south as well. Will try to go into close range fights, but they are class cannons of their own. And they are the lighter class cannons. So them taking these fights here is really risky. But Jeremy is slowly getting a bit of a point lead. But yeah, helicopters coming up now. The MX-30s here engaging. The Brennus with the 19 pen at least can do a bit of damage, but they do miss currently, and the Leopards do get the hit here in return. The Leopard kiting the next MX-30. MX-30s having to fall back here, getting out of there. KCT Verkenner goes down in the south. Commandos there might find a second one, but reinforcements already on the way. More Leopard 1s on the way as well, and the Leopard 2s do stay alive.
Yeah, the limited infantry forces that I was predicting earlier have finally landed with the Panzerinfanterie Dragons vetted up actually, and these will now move in. They will eat through the commandos with the autocannons, the PRIs will, and then the only thing here left are going to be some Gazelle helicopters and a bunch of wounded AMX-30s. And this here fight is not the best one for Griffon to fight. I think the likelihood of getting into Papa is so like minuscule compared to actually winning back Echo. But all these units seem to be in position to fight a massive grind fight that Jeremy is not going to be participating in it, or maybe actually now with some Grenadier Voltigeurs moving in, maybe he is. And whether this is going to be the slower approach, way slower and way more infantry focused than attacking Foxtrot. As you can see up north on Foxtrot, there is a single Eclaireur with its transport truck, but that is an area that you have a lot of open ground.
The Leopard 1NL getting the Brennus kill before it could get repaired. Brennus there stuck out in the open a bit too much. Gazelle Hot trying to come around, trying to revenge it here, but that's such an important kill. You only get 4 of those Brennuses, so they are key as well. Jaguar AT here fails once more to get the hit. Cheetah retaliates, does get good damage, so that Jaguar AT is out for a good while. Gazelle Cannon has to be careful as well. YPR will kill the 20mm MX-13 here in a second. That's an advantage there for the Dutch as well, as the MX-1 tries to find some damage against some Leo 2A4s here, but won't find any kills, and MX-30s here going down, the snowball not happening, and as I said, they struggle frontally against the Leo 2A4s, so this is going to be tough. You want to get side shot territory, and enabling that here in the south gets harder and harder.
Oh, Alf1 getting some nice hits on a Leopard 2A4C, spotted by the commandos actually in a pretty far out firing here. But yeah, as I was saying, there's going to be a grind fight that is not really on either player's advantage, really, except for Jeremy, because Jeremy is under a +1. Like a small part of these reinforces, these forces getting used to attack Foxtrot or threaten Bravo, I think would be a better choice. This is seems to be like a massive overreaction from Griffon's part. But I think the way that this can work out really well for Griffon is that if instead of going into Papa, the target is the reinforcement road into Echo, the tree line south of where the AMX Alf 1 is right now, and north of where the Gazelle Hot is. If that tree line is the actual like goal here, then I think this is like tactically sound. But fighting for Papa, it's just such a long shot and such an easy area to defend.
Yeah, MX-30s here now getting involved. Leopards trying to move forward, both sides losing a couple of infantry there. MX Alf 1 now aiming for the center tank again, trying to push the CV tank out there, gaining a bit more of a take, gaining a couple more points. Leopard 1NL there goes down. Leopard 2s need to be still repaired, so they are currently not participating. That's a good thing for Jeremy, who has to be really careful of leaving the tanks out in the open here. Whilst Gazelle Hots coming around, Grenadier Voltigeur and Commandos slowly pushing in the south, but there's too much there with the YPRs, with the Panzer Infantry to stop them there, so that's not going to happen. But back to a +2 here for a second. Jaguar AT trying to find a shot again, doesn't find it though. Cheetahs are around there, pushing it back. Jaguar HE coming in as well. Will actually try to find a bunch of units here, but not going for the Cheetah. I expected it to go for the Cheetah, and Cheetah actually might get a kill here in return. Oh, it doesn't, but Jaguar barely gets out alive. Meanwhile, southern fight here does escalate. Infantry going down on both sides. Panzer Infantry there goes down. Leopard 2A4 now does participate again. MX-30 need to get the hell out of there. F-16 AA goes down on the side of Griffon. Air dominance getting a bit more likely for Jeremy. The Gazelle Hot has to be really careful of Cheetahs around there. Cheetah repositioning. MX-30s have to disengage. 5 of them around here in the south by now. they can deal with all the light vehicles. Like the goal of them is just avoid fights with Leo 2s, kill off all the rest. But that's obviously easier said than done once the Leopard 2 numbers gets higher. And there we go, one shot kill with the crit.
The critical.
Next AMX 30 under fire, takes a lot of damage. Gazelle Hot trying to get involved, Cheetah coming around the flank. YPR goes down, but the Gazelle Hot is toast as well.
Yeah, this is so far like the manufacturing by Griffon of this town fight here is it's kind of managing to diminish the number of AMX 30s, and the airstrikes, especially from Jeremy, have been suboptimal so far. But there's still like 26 minutes of the game left, so there is more than enough time to actually gain back the 400 points. Now Griffon seems to be wanting to play this like a slow armored division, just relying on the technological advantage of having the leopards, relying on knowing that there are enough numbers to sacrifice certain amounts of panzer infantry.
Next AMX 30 gets sacrificed into a Leo, and there's no infantry here for Jeremy in the middle, so all these panzer infantry here will push them out of the middle, and he has to run there actually. Otherwise, we'll lose all the forces in the center, and then the northern position, Foxtrot and Bravo, are completely open. We have to remember there's nothing there. So if Zxcvster loses all the center forces here, then Griffon can just rotate north, get all the ground, and run away with that. So these losses are something that you can't really afford. VABs and Rolands need to get the hell out of there as well. And I'm not quite sure what the smoke was supposed to achieve, but it achieved absolutely nothing. Maybe only made Griffon move, and now Griffon is gaining the upper hand there and getting an upper hand in the south as well, because no solution for the Leopard 2 has been found yet.
Yeah, I think the idea was that the PRIs are going to be doing most of the fighting, so you're going to cut off the number of PRIs that get to be shooting. But the artillery and the M110s doing the damage was just too much. Suddenly there was nothing left there. Another Jaguar AT coming in and not really getting its value. And so far, like the machine that feeds AMX 30s into Leopard 2A4s, that is what the town fight has been so far. Like Jeremy's unwillingness to attack that southwestern point is really funny here, because it has not wanted to buy the infantry forces and has only been using these mobile tanks and aircraft.
And he has a bailout, he has another kill here, the Leopard's just completely shredding it apart, and the forces are completely falling apart here right now. There's basically nothing left on the ground, and not a single kill here on anything on the other side. Finally, a Leo 2A4B goes down to the Jaguars. Finally, they find some value, but this is too little too late, as there's just nothing left that is actually a fighting force. Only a couple of artillery and AA units here remaining, and the desperate reinforcements trying to come in. But on the other side, we have a good bunch of Leo 2A4s. We have a good bunch of infantry and decent enough recon here to just keep on pushing for the rest of the game, which might not be all that long.
Yeah, like was the urban area here kind of the bleeding ulcer, so to speak, of Jeremy's army, that like at no point did Jeremy want at all to attack Zulu? The threatening, the moving around there was really always kind of minimal, just wanting to get those screening positions. But Griffon moving their main tank force south from the sieging Echo area, and probably maybe, I think maybe Griffon was just assuming that the northern area was going to be way better defended, because it always is, and the French have so many good missiles, and just wanted to pull and drag Jeremy away into the town. And then Jeremy didn't buy any infantry, or just didn't buy infantry in good enough numbers to punish the Leopards once the Leopards had their way with the AMX 30s. That was it was very interesting and kind of definitively like excellent from Griffon there. I don't know what Jeremy could have done there, especially early on, hitting those Leopard 2s and being forced to immediately cover, giving Griffon just amazing gold S tier scale up time with very little pressure coming from the French.
Yeah, job well done here by Griffon, and really showing up as maybe a favorite in that group actually now. games, 3 wins so far. Let's see if Jeremy can stop them in game number 2. But that was a really decisive show of force there, and makes you a bit of wonder. But yeah, that pick was really strong. Like, it was 5th Blindée first pick, 4th Divisie second pick. Mount River, game number 2, it's gonna be a 35th Deshanta Stormovaya versus the 119th with the 35th as the counter pick. So it's going to be real aggression there against the 119th. Helicopter play and all, most likely. So this is going to be really interesting. As, yeah, 4th Divisie here absolutely taken apart by the Leopard 2s. Game well played there by Griffon. And let's see what game number 2 has to offer. Thanks for the Twitch Prime there, Pibbat. Much appreciated, guys. If you want to support the channel, if you want to help us out here, yeah, those Twitch Primes go a long way. Obviously, check out the channel of Mr. Chloride over there as well. Give a follow over there. Yeah, let's get us number 2. Wasn't ready for the camera today, guys. So here we go, everybody. Returning to game number 2. Before we jump in, quick shout out to the Fantasy League once more, guys. We had a couple more signups here. So Fantasy League getting bigger. But get your team together. Maybe add Griffon to it. Seems to be a good choice right now. We might get some save points. We're gonna end up close up sign up next week. So get your team together now. And yeah, pick your guys. Can get some save points already, but the important ones come in the playoffs anyways, so not a massive advantage there. And yeah, let's get into the action here with Griffon and Jeremy. Game number 2, 35th BDV versus 119th here. And yeah, this is a counter pick 35th here, which is going to be interesting, as this is a narrow map, and this is also a map. And 119th is also a division with forward deployment, so it struggles a bit in the mixed section. So it's going to be interesting to see how 35th is trying to exploit that.
Yeah, so Protoss, go and check out at Jeremy's Spetsnaz and OP Spetsnaz where they're getting their routing. This is a heavy attack into south, trying to get into Anna, and importantly, also having a simultaneous attack on those forests south of Anna. This being the standard place where a mechanized force, or like Rasvedka BMP2s, for instance, or TO50s, 55s, can participate in those fights. So Jeremy is investing very heavily into just not even attacking, but just securing that area. And I think that's something that is probably a decent choice, considering like you said, it's so difficult for 119th to build up a versatile or flexible force. So if you surprise them at all, you can be in a really nice position. And it seems like 119th is gonna not necessarily get the middle without any fighting, but Jeremy is sending largely just ATGMs, the upwetted concourse missiles, actually to intercept the enemy who is getting into the sign position in middle. There's going to be a T80 BVK, a Tunguska, and TO55s, of course, all of which are going to be nice targets for the Conquerors. And yeah, if Griffon doesn't immediately manage to get the middle and then fortify that middle and then gain some ground around the middle, the southern attack to Anna and Paul will probably put Jeremy in a really nice position from the opener. Of course, it's possible that there's going to be an aircraft that is going to destroy the Mi-8 rockets, transporting the recon infantry, and a lot of points invested in from Jeremy. Those are unarmored helicopters, of course. And but if those helicopters are allowed to hang around, they'll just delete the very few units that Griffon can actually, very few infantry units that Griffon can actually invest here.
Yeah, these rocket helicopters just got a bit cheaper. We had a bit of theory crafting around that. I think that's one of the reasons why they replaced these now, because yeah, they are now 95 points. It's going to be interesting to see if that is good enough to actually make them show up more again, because they were basically gone from play completely beforehand. Yeah, 95 points might be where they get competitive again. So interesting to see here with the Mi-8s pushing forward, getting the Motorrad Shredka out there. And yeah, Anna has been captured. The center point is being kept under control now soon as well. TV catching up here, the Sergeant Bellejour, to get the take up higher. That's the Mi-8 here, trying to find a way in. MiG-29 versus Su-27. Ooh, both sides dealing damage. No side going down. The Mi-8 in the south getting hit by the Eagler. Might have to fall back there. Can it get out of range? Seemingly can. And yeah, now Jeremy might have to push deeper here towards Boris, as the Dejong Conquerors here trying to find some damage. Tunguska gets the kill. They don't really find a good line of sight. Ooh, T80 actually stays to fight, but that means it will get a shot out. Tunguska not gonna get hit by the second Conquerors, and it seems like Griffon will get the center, and that means now Boris has to be the target or a flank back into the center, and that's not going to be easy over the open field here. MiG-27 does miss the T80. That would have been a great kill, but the T80...
Tunguska was in a move command, so it did not fire.
Yeah, comes around again, fires another missile. Oh, does miss again. Unfortunate times here for Jeremy, getting 2 shots against the T80B out and not getting a single hit here with the 50% accuracy missile. And yeah, falling back now. 55%. Oh no, 50%, yeah, normal with that. As you can see there, Spetsnaz and OP Spetsnaz ready in the south, but they are not pushing forward. And that I think is a big mistake from Jeremy right now. You need to keep the pressure up. You need to take enemy recon away, and the Ward 19 needs to be constantly under pressure so it doesn't get its perfect combined arms onto the battlefield. Because once it does that, it might have one of the best, if not the best, combined arms in the game.
Yeah, it's currently they've been slow in taking the middle, but with the Desantnigisturmava and Motorrad Shredka getting shot down from the tower there, oh no, is the Conqueror's missile going to finally get... It does get a front shot on the T80 BVK, but that's the 4th missile down and no other weaponry around. The Jeremy is sending in the Mi-24V, which does have 4 Kokon missiles, which are more than enough to challenge tanks. This thing it's kind of a desperation buy, I think, just wanting to keep having some kind of fire control around that area. Meanwhile, not a lot of movement on the other parts of the map. This is the weakness with airborne divisions. If you don't get a bunch of kills with your forward deployment units, you're going to have to buy a new army, basically, because none of your stuff is really that mobile.
Good ambush there with the SBG 9 UATs. Gets the kill on the TO-55. That's 100 points killed. But yeah, you need more than that. The Conquerors and the infantry units in the south need to push further forward. Jeremy maybe a bit too shy there, expecting the enemy to have maybe more there than they actually do. As the OP Spetsnaz and Motorrad Shvedka finally start moving again. Conquerors unloading back. Boris should be the goal here on this map right now. Heat plane coming around, but Tunguska has its guns turned off, can still use its missiles, and actually gets a hit with one of those. We have Me-8 as Corky now coming in as helicopters in the south as well. And yeah, Conqueror is here for the middle. All of that is nice, but you need more pressure than this as the airborne division on this map. As this map in the late game is such a field day for the heavy divs, but you need to make it uncomfortable for them in the early game if you want to have a shot here.
Yeah, SBG9 managing to get some good engagements against the Spetsnaz actually here. Spetsnaz getting sniped out by the heavy rockets of the Mi-24V as well. And now with the BMD...
No, Griffon not hitting the TADB inside shot. Spetsnaz gonna go down there most likely. Oh, barely surviving. Tunguska coming around. MiG-27 once more trying to find a kill, but the TADB is hidden behind cover. Spetsnaz and ZSUs now pushing forward in the south. Me-8 escorting coming around. Ooh! Oh, the MiG gets the kill against the Tunguska. Doesn't get the kill against the T-80, but Tunguska kill, important kill nonetheless. That's another unit that you have to replace on the other side. And meanwhile, Spetsnaz have a problem with the Me-8 in the south, but it is out of rockets now, so you can maybe push on further, push the ZSUs up. Iglas on the battlefield. Helicopters reloading in the rear. Well, we have a bit of a push with Dejanikis and BMDs towards the middle. You need to keep the kills up high so that the T-80Us can't come around the numbers, that the enemy has to constantly rebuy recon units and so on. Like, killing off some Spetsnaz GRU would go such a long way in this long term.
Yeah, BMD2 getting taken out by a Fagot missile. But can I just say, saving that Motora Svedka, saving that one unit and keeping it safe, like, that is what allowed for that AT plane to do something. Like, the T-80s and the Tunguskas thought that they had taken that thing out, but Jeremy was being careful, using the spotting capacity and exploiting the little overconfidence by the enemy. And right now, Jeremy is trying to exploit this into an attack, getting a bunch of helicopters here. Third helicopter joining in, and covered by at least theoretically, the AT planes and the Seed, which is gonna join the fight in some time. I think it's going to be capable of doing so. Even more now, Desant Afghanzi, shock troops getting bought here, so heavily investing infantry into this fight. Now, the problem is, if Griffon gets enough mech, there are not that much Conqueror's missiles, and the helicopters are easily counterable by the Tunguskas, but Jeremy getting a bunch of supply out here, which is going to keep those Conqueror's launchers filled, at least for the moment. It's going to keep repairing and refueling all the helicopters. And the damage needs to be done right now, because if Jeremy doesn't manage to do that, there are now a bunch of artillery and anti-air and helicopters on the enemy side. In a moment, there's going to be tanks. And then there is no going back. The attack has to be done. The victory has to be won before the tanks are out there in numbers. And meanwhile, the southern kind of push towards Boris, completely not realistic. There needs to be armored formation, and all the resources are getting sent into the middle. So that's kind of empty points right now.
Iglas here, and a bit caught out, and Spetsnaz and Motrocheska here trying to hold out. Mi-24s and Me-8 here sitting behind. Might have to come forward. Su-27s coming in. MiG-29s on the other side. Ooh, a lot of air combat. One MiG-29 down. They can't quite get the MiG-27. At least the MiG-27's pushed out. Oh, MiG-29 diving a bit too deep there. Over to Guskas, over the Strelas. That's likely not gonna end well there. Another missile coming out against it, and there goes the second MiG-29. Both Su-27s still alive. This is terrible news for Zermi, because that means the loss of the air control, and that means helicopters are dead weights now long term, as the Su-27s and the MiG-29s can just dive them, but you don't have any long-range AA. Your MiG-27 AT here now has to use its timing that it is on as well before the Su-27s can come back. So Jeremy on a real big timer now, not just until the heavy tanks arrive, but also from the air part. So needs to get in here into the center and needs to get some job done.
Yeah, Strela is on the water actually in a pretty nice position where it can't be spotted from the ground, but can still destroy helicopters out there on the other part on the other lake. Now Tunguska's managing to shoot down that AT plane, kind of signaling from Jeremy that there is no use investing in the bombers. Everything is going to be shot down. And the Tunguskas here can also function as infantry support guns. If they put on their radar guns, they can eliminate an Afghanzi easy peasy. So even if that's not going to be the primary purpose, it's going to be something Jeremy has to deal with. Now the seed plane.
Seed plane goes down as well. Yeah, this is going really badly right now. You need to get some massive kills here on the ground to get that, and forcing kills with 35th VDV is tough, and you need to do it. Otherwise, War 19 will just run away with it. PO55 goes down. Next MiG-27 bites the dust. This is running really poorly right now for Jeremy. Still not even in victory lead currently point-wise, so has to do more than that, and has so little left there in the center. Only a couple of infantry units. T80 moving around. SU-27 diving onto the Mi-24. Gets the kill there. Will get the hell out of there. No enemy AA here to really do anything about it. 2 Iglas. Will get some shots out. They even get 2 hits, but it's not enough. Only 4 damage per hit. No kill there. The units in the south stuck still as well. And yeah, that's War 19th now getting into its comfort zone. And 35th is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, the Spetsnaz crew out there holding basically vision over the middle. The BRDM2s having just more ammunition than any other Conquerors unit on Jeremy's side. Every single unit here outside of infantry units that can be just rocketed away by the helicopters. All of this is superior for Griffon. Griffon has been playing this very carefully, has had some issues, especially keeping their unit supplied. But now, after securing the air supremacy and just shooting down all the expensive and very valuable and important helicopters, yeah, it's now this is I think it's turtle time. It's turtling time for Jeremy. Jeremy now has 4 planes up, recognizing that there is basically no way over this but through. You just gonna have to get the air kills no matter what. There is no option. But this time, these air fights against the Su-27s will be supported by AA guns. So this time it's gonna be different.
Yeah, the Masters here now getting involved towards the south. Will aim for the Gazelle, the gas. Iglas coming in, Rajwetka Saperi coming in as well. The PRDM Conquers getting the ZU-23 there. That has to unload, has to get the hell out of there. And forces here heavily favor Griffon. And Jeremy is still not in point lead, so maybe he can play for a draw, but 26 minutes on this map against a mechanized division with an airborne division, I don't really see that happening. Now the big air club tries to come in. I don't think it's going to achieve much against MiG-29s and Su-27s and a lot of Tunguskas on the ground. Hey, the Su-27 at least got. Planes actually surviving decently long here. MiG-29 trying to get the kill there. Does fail to do so. And yeah, not as many planes lost.
Running up, taking out the guns, taking out the MiG at the end. I mean, there's still a Su-27 there, so and also the Tunguskas are all basically alive. But at least the Tunguskas have now run out of their missile ammo for the moment.
Yeah, getting another kill against another MiG-29 of Jeremy on the way out. And there's just so much ground stuff here now. And there's not enough conquerors in this. And like, the way you usually want to play with 35th for the late game is having a point lead of like 1,000 points or so, and then making it a living nightmare for the enemy with ATGMs. But there is not enough space on this map to making it an ATGM nightmare. There is not enough room for that. It's too easy to figure out the lanes. It's too easy to push through the lanes, and You need a lot of Conqueror hits, 11 to kill a T80 UD, because they have so much frontal armor, so killing them off with those Conquerors is not going to happen. You can just maybe buy a bit of time, but every time your Conquerors shows itself, it gets artilleried, and then slowly whittled down until the enemy has enough forces to just A-click over you. And with 25 minutes, there's just too much time for that in my eyes here. And I feel like my confirmation, I'm getting my confirmation here today about my predictions that 35th and 76 currently highly overrated, as they are just a bit too predictable and they just fall short if you play around them. And yeah, Griffon did well, Hippie did it well, and currently 35th here just getting a bit obliterated here.
Yeah, I was I was excited to see Airborne being played. Like Airborne has been underdog competitively for some time now, and as people have slowly and slowly gotten better and better at WARNO, the more kind of standard combined arms plays that people can do, the less powerful Airborne is, the less powerful the opener shock value is, even in standard games. And I was really excited to see in the 35th counter pick. And really, if Griffon had attacked down south, maybe the opener would have gone differently. Maybe Jeremy's heavy investment in the special forces down south would have actually managed to do something. But Griffon just played this very smartly, much like in the last game against the French. After the enemy opener has kind of spotted and evaluated, then you manage to get yourself into a position of either slightly losing points or not losing points at all, and then you just scale, just get the stuff on board, and whenever you feel confident enough to force an engagement, those engagements are going to look like air fights where the other side has 4 AA missile launchers, or ground fights with a bunch of tanks hanging in the background. There really should have been something different. Maybe a Spetsnaz OP unit, just like extra, trying to patch out the vehicles going into the middle zone or something. I don't know. It's difficult. You have to win with trickery. You cannot win with numbers outside of like the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, Conquerors flying around here, BMB D2s, get overwhelmed, TDU, just smoking away, falling back, will be back in a second. The Master artillery pieces here getting involved as well. Next T80s coming up here, and you just build up over time, you shoot down blue units time and time again, and then you come back in the last 10 minutes and just get a small point lead and win it that way. It's not that complicated. You don't have to push fast here anytime soon. Like, that's one of the things that a lot of people do wrong against 35th. They try to get a point lead now, and then they overextend, and then they get hit by Conquerors in the side, and then they lose their units, and then the sneaky CV gets behind them, gets a point lead for the VDV after all, and then they lose in the long game and save 35th VDV OP. But if you just take your time, play it slowly, methodically, and let them suicide in you, or you just kill them over time with artillery and picking off units one by one with your more sturdy forces, then usually you win in the last 10 minutes of the game. Akula coming around, but there is enough fighters here to hunt that down. So that Akula is toast. SC-27 doing the job, and MiG-27 AT going down as well.
Yeah, it's Masta getting some good shots in, removing one of the last pillars of the defense here. The Spetsnaz grew, a pillar of offense at this point, really. But in realistic terms, with no ATGMs out here, Griffon could just move down southeast and get into Paul pretty easily. Even contesting enemy air supremacy on their part of the map. Like, when you have a full-on airborne division.
Oh, the memes! The memes! The Boratino is here. I haven't seen one of those in a while. They got a bit cheaper, both in reload and in cost. They are still stupidly overpriced for a 1v1 unit. It's there for the 10v10s, and it makes sense to have it this highly priced, because otherwise it would bring pain and suffering. But yeah, the meme is here. the meme machine actually will do some damage here and clear up the way in the south, and it's going to be the finisher here.
Yeah, it's when the game was new and airborne divisions used to just rule. Back then, airborne divisions were nerfed by taking away all of their tanks, all of their heavy artilleries, and all the vehicles, and that made airborne divisions like 35th and 82nd actually, well, they were still very good, but it permanently basically removed heavy equipment from airborne divisions. And since then, we've gotten so many forward deploying good aggro divisions that have all of that necessary support. Doesn't even have to be like 4th Moto or 2nd UK, which have both the forward deployment and the support equipment, but there really is like even the Polish, even Corpus has a mass of T-55s that you can have some kind of a mechanized core behind your strong infantry. It just kind of feels like competitively this sort of one-note division does not stand right now. You should have one long-range air car to fight off the fighters or something to it just looks so toothless, you know.
Oh, 2.7 KD. This was an absolute dismantlement here. And yeah, we have Griffon now as the top of Group B here, and the man to beat as they get the W here versus Jeremy. That have W against MJ player as well. So this group is starting to shape up here, with Griffon as the one to catch. Texas and Hippie have to do a good job there. And yep, well-deserved victory here. GGVP. And yeah, job well done here. So this is... this was a really, really good game there from Griffon. And Jeremy will have to maybe find another solution for 119th in these matches.
Yeah, I mean, 119th was just the safe gameplay. Just play it safe. Just don't allow the opener, the airborne, to do anything in the opener. And after that point, if the airborne doesn't manage to mid-game aggro you well enough, and they're airborne just can't really do mid-game aggro unless you trade badly in the opener, and even then it's going to be difficult. Then you get free reign to buy all your tanks and all your AA missiles and all your expensive fighters and aircrafts and even Buratino. It's just really that simple. I hate to say it, but I think we're just gonna have to accept that airborne divisions suck as competitive orthodoxy, at least on league level here, even when
I don't
taken
think
in like as a counter pick.
Yeah, I don't think it's they suck though. I think they just suck when you pick them into 119th on Mount River. Like that's just not an airborne map. We have airborne maps in the map pool. We have Kryder, we have Black Forest can do it a bit as well. Omen obviously is an airborne deck. 76 I think is just currently a really terrible division because it doesn't even do the airborne things good. It doesn't have cheap air spam. It doesn't have helicopters. So yeah, doesn't even do that thing right, but the others can do that. Chandra can do it a bit as well, but I think especially Omen and Kryder are the two maps where you might want to do it. And yeah, they just didn't get picked here. Instead, we had Mount River, and there you just don't want to play 35th.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I just feel like if you're picking 35th on Mount River, I guess the kind of the cop out that I can give to Jeremy here is that they just their opener had the special forces going into the wrong place. All the spec ops went down south when they should have been literally anywhere else. The early spotting of the recon push into the southern areas allowed Griffon to just build up a very easy defense that there was no reason to at any point really push from Jeremy's side.
Yeah, and if you ever look a bit on the picks and bans so far, like, yeah, the mechanized divisions are still the ones that picked and banned for the most part. We have double played First Luftlande though already. This is going to be interesting. And yeah, 20th Panzerna here being the most banned division. Map bans, Omen being banned, so that's why we don't see the airborne divisions, because people ban the Omen. And then, yeah, first Canadian division coming around. Div Mob coming around the second ban, so there are some lighter divisions here getting banned. 8 second infantry here, 56 PDV, second Panzer Grenadier. It's going to be interesting to see. I know for a fact that a couple of top level players outside of the ones we saw so far will play lighter divisions as well. I'm excited to see how they will fare with it. So this is going to be interesting. And yeah, Vertigo, currently the most favorite map. It's the old meta is still top here, but Chandra being in there is nice. Surrounded being picked 3 times already is nice as well. Dura so far once. And yeah, we saw the Omen earlier as well. So this is going to be a fun season. I think the map pool is pretty nicely varied. And yeah, we'll see how people will use that. And at the latest, when we see Medi play, we will know how sneaky you can be in this pool.
Yeah, but yeah, outside of that, I think I will keep maybe considering the airborne completely sucking idea, and maybe we can reach a compromise, a synthesis of airborne sucks completely in certain maps, maybe. But yeah. On the other hand, I just feel like people getting too good at combined arms. People have learned the game too well, and I think Airborne from the very start kind of exploited the uncertainty and the fact that people were playing carefully when the game is so complicated and multiple faceted.
Yeah, gonna be interesting. With that said, guys, we're gonna end it here for today, and with that, we're also gonna end for the week with casts. We're gonna be back next week, as I'm gonna be traveling over the weekend. There will be other streams and casts as well. I'm not sure. Maybe you're gonna cast some of the lower division games on your own channel for the weekend, or otherwise find it elsewhere, guys. For example, on Ryan's channel, YouTube channel. And yeah, we're gonna end it here and see you all next time, guys. Bye bye and have a great day.
Bye bye.